Alright, just sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device. Alright, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, March the 16th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete. Say hello, Mr. RadioPete.
You've only got 15 hours and 54 minutes and 56 seconds and counting to lock in your brackets at ncaa.com.
15 hours?
Yep.
58 minutes?
54 minutes and 46 seconds and counting.
46 seconds now. Ugh.
Time is roughly 2/3 of a day.
It's ticking down, so you better get on. You better get cracking. Not the Seattle Kraken. You better get cracking and fill out those brackets.
Yeah.
They need to be done. Have you done yours?
No, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, me neither. We just talk about it here. That's it.
Yeah, it's, you know what, when I was in Riverhead, my partner and I, we used to go round by round.
Right.
Which was a really cool way to do it. Because, as you know, if there's one big upset that you don't pick, it can destroy
your whole bracket.
1/4 of your bracket.
Right.
So we used to go round by round. And it made it much more entertaining because we were actually picking the games that were actually being played.
Right.
But it was hard to do because the weekend would come as it got a little further into the tournament.
Right.
And we'd be like, well, there's 2 rounds going on by the time we get back here.
Right. And
we can only pick the first one. But still, it was fun. I lost all the time anyway, so.
Did you now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
There was a basketball game. I think it was last week. I'm not quite exactly sure, but I just wanted to bring this up really quick. It was advertised on KWWL in Waterloo, Iowa. It's Channel 7. It's an NBC affiliate. The news reported. I'll just put this up. You tell me what's wrong with this. There you go. Jordan Bohannon.
Well, I believe if I can make a Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle reference.
Sure. Go
ahead. The 2 girls in the bathroom.
In the
bathroom.
Were
having a contest, right? It was a Taco Bell that I think they'd eaten.
They had eaten Taco Bell, and they were having a battle shits.
Battle shits. Thank you. I couldn't remember what the name is. Yeah. So maybe Mr. Bohannon was involved in that. If it was basketball they're talking about, then I think that might be a misspelling.
I think it might be. I think it might be onto something there, folks. If you're listening to the audio podcast, KWWL in Waterloo, Iowa, promoted the fact that Jordan Bohannon made a game-winning shit in a Big Ten game. I'm assuming it's Iowa. It's not Iowa State. It's Iowa. Looking at the colors of the jersey, Iowa State would be red. What gold? Gold and black would be Iowa. Yeah.
Some intern will not be getting his college credit or hers,
right?
For this semester because they were running the crawl.
Well, the I is next to the O on the typewriter on the keyboard.
That's true.
Listen to me dating myself, typewriter, right? But on the keyboard. The I is next to the O, so it's not a game-winning shit. It's a game-winning shot. So, but congratulations to Mr. Jordan Bohannon. Either way, congratulations.
He's a winner either way.
He's a winner either way. So, but I definitely want to bring that up. So in any event,
that's good stuff.
You gotta love it. Anyway, I guess we should. I mean, what do you want to do? We should we should mention that Harry is not with us tonight. He's on temporary assignment. And we sent him to check on some things. He'll be back with us next week. But it'll just be the 2 of us this evening. So we're going to change things up a little bit. We're not going to necessarily do a top 10 or the top players basketball-wise that we've been doing of late. We're gonna pause that till next week, as well as old balls. But
it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same.
It wouldn't be the same without Harry, right?
Because we. Maybe we might have like one player from the 30s or, from the 1890s or something.
Right.
Without Harry. I might pick one of those guys just, just
for the hell of it.
But with him, we need him because he really digs deep.
He digs deep. When it comes to NBA, he really digs deep.
Yeah.
So
this guy is a shooting guard that you've never heard of.
Right.
He only played 200 games, but he was a monster between 1912 and 1916
and 1913.
Yeah,
19. Yeah, right. But in any event,
but we'll bring that back next week.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that next week. We're going to do a top 10 of free agent signings, but that's it. It turned out the conversation turned out to be too interesting, so we're gonna save that for Harry too.
Yeah.
So
are we gonna do best and worst?
We could do best and worst. I'm fine with that. So we'll do that.
Since we're both Met fans, we'll do best free agent signing ever and the worst free agent signing ever by the New York Mets.
Worst of the worst, right? Exactly. Yeah. So I got mine already. So I do. We'll see where yours at. You can go first, but I got mine already. So
I didn't start thinking about it yet.
There you go.
Come on, dude.
I know. So
I'm going to research 2 when I don't research 10?
Not important. Not important. So
who do I hate the most?
You're right.
That'll be it.
That'll be it.
That'll be the worst.
All right. So why don't we kick it off with baseball?
All right.
Baseball. There's a lot going on in baseball. Finally, lockout is done. Of course, it was done the day after our show last week, so we had to wait 6 days to talk about it.
Well, I believe that was on purpose.
I think they waited. They knew we were on our show last Wednesday, so they waited till Thursday to announce the signing.
They like to stick it to us because we cut through the bull and we get to the crux of the issues.
Exactly.
And then I call somebody a bad. Then I call somebody a bad name, and they get angry, and they're like, "Don't settle till."
Well, I have made mention of my my feelings for Mr. Manfred, quite often. Yeah. So that's probably where between the two of us, and Harry, of course, that's where it came from. So they had to wait till Thursday, but that's fine. No worries. We can talk about it all tonight because there's a lot more to talk about than there would have been last Thursday by this point. So let's get it going. Let's kick it off with let's just kick it off with the fact that I wanted to mention Fox 5 actually took a poll the other day. Fox 5 Sports, local New York, obviously, took a poll. Who's going to have the better season, the Mets or the Yankees? I'm going to ask you. I got the numbers right here. I'm going to ask you, how do you think the voting went? What do you think?
I think who do I think the public chose?
Well, why don't you tell me who you would say first, and then tell me what the poll went. What you think?
Well, I mean, as objective as you know I am,
of course.
I'm not particularly thrilled with anything the Yankees have done right now.
It's kind of been a little lame.
Yeah, and I'm not really. I mean, they still have some work to do. Not really sure where they're going, but they're the Yankees, and somehow they may be able to pull it together. Now, I did hear someone say the other day that they felt, one of those professional pundits,
those guys,
said that the whole idea of the Yankees, right, their standard of excellence is we're going to win. We're going to take a shot at the World Series every year. That's our goal every year.
That's the goal. That's obviously the goal for the Yankees every year, right?
Right, but what they were saying is it's really not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You got a couple of different guys named Steinbrenner, right, who are running the team now. Not George anymore.
Not George.
And that stance has softened. And now, because of the way the playoffs are, and because of what Harry rails against with like what the Braves did, going out and getting a new team at the trading deadline,
right,
and all of that. This particular person feels like that's not the Yankee standard anymore. The Yankee standard is let's get into the playoffs and see where it goes.
See where it goes, right? Yeah.
Which is a much more realistic standard in today's game. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they're going about that in a particularly good way this season.
Right.
So getting back to your question, but they are the Yankees.
Sure.
So now the Mets have made some really good moves.
A couple, yeah.
But they're the Mets. Which
are they though?
Mean the same thing as but
are
the Yankees.
They though? I mean, they are, yeah, but and until proven otherwise, they are.
They are.
I get it. But I mean, in I don't even know how to say on paper. On paper they're still the Mets, but in reality, are they? And it's this curse, right? You're a Mets fan. You have high hopes. Now you have probably higher hopes than you've ever had before. When's the letdown coming? Is it coming in April? Is it coming in May? Is it coming in October? Is it coming in November? I mean, we went to the World Series 7 years ago, and so that that one came in November, that letdown.
But I think if there was a little more consistent success,
right,
we probably wouldn't all feel that way, right? Because it seems to me that every now and then we have a high, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And the rest and every other year besides that is letdowns and disastrous injuries and all, it's always, oh, here we go.
Right.
It's not, well, they didn't quite get there, or they got to the playoffs, but they couldn't quite get over the hump. That doesn't happen consistently enough.
Right.
And so we're quick to flip that switch and go, yeah, that's it. We're not going anywhere.
Right. Well, that's the whole joke, right? That's the I think Family Guy said it best. What they went to opening day, and Stewie was sitting in the stands, and it was opening day, and you heard the umpire say, "You're just the camera's on Stewie," and he said, "You heard the umpire say, strike 3, you're out." He says, "Up, that's it. Season's over." They got up and left. It was opening day, right? But
so if they were a perennial or more perennial playoff team,
mm-hmm.
maybe not perennial, but almost pseudo perennial, biperennial or something, playoff team that could maybe make a little noise, then we would have a little, it's all or nothing,
right?
Or almost all or nothing if you don't win it all, right?
Right.
But I'll take almost all or nothing.
I will take almost all or nothing every year, and then once in a while have the
rather have a trip to the World Series and lose than come in fourth, or third, or whatever.
Sure.
But there's just not enough of that getting anywhere close to that with the Mets.
Right.
So, having said all that, I think the Mets are going to have a better season this year.
Better season than themselves, or better season than the Yankees?
Better season than the Yankees.
Better season than the Yankees. Okay. I will.
As far as the results of the poll,
give me that. Tell me that. What do you think the poll said? What do you think the pollsters? There was no information on how many people were polled and who it was.
Poll?
It was a Fox 5 local New York Fox 5 Sports poll. So,
I'm going to say the people agree with me.
Okay, all right. I'll tell you mine first. I agree with everything you said. What the only caveat to that I will say is this. They have to, until proven otherwise, they're still the Mets, right? But things are different. And they technically were different last year, but there was still a hangover from the Wilpons last year, right? There was still Luis Rojas as manager. There was still some, signing some people in the organization that was still a hangover again from the Wilpons. And Steve Cohen was getting his feet, right? He was getting his bearings, running baseball like a day-to-day kind of a thing. And, he flipped the switch after last season, said, that's it. It's done. Let's go. And what that said to me was that the new Steinbrenner in New York is Steve Cohen. Not Steinbrenner, the new George in town, is Steve Cohen. Excuse me. But that being said, same thing until it's proven otherwise. They're still the Mets. So there's a little bit of hesitation or whatever you call it.
I'll say that about Steve Cohen too. I think because this whole process of the hirings and the firings of the front office has been pretty disastrous. It's been a joke, honestly.
Yeah,
it has not been done well.
It has not been done well, but I will say that I wasn't 100% sold on Billy Epler, but I wasn't against it per se. I don't mind it so far. And, just the attitude about it and everything else. Clearly, if you've been listening to me for the last 2 years or longer, 2 years on this, but I am elated with Buck Showalter because he should have been the man 2 years ago or longer. He should have been brought in here before Mickey Callaway was, let alone before Luis Rojas was. He's, I think, between Steve Cohen's money, his attitude that, win now and in the future, Billy Epler able to, do a few of those things, Sandy Alderson's still there, but obviously kind of a background kind of figure at this point. And the players that they have, and Buck managing them, I think it's going to be. I think it's finally going to be different. Now, does that mean they're going to World Series this year? I would love it. And do they have a chance? Sure. They have.
That's impossible.
Honestly, it's not impossible for them to go to the World Series this year, but is it a guarantee? No, of course not. Is it a guarantee for any team? No, of course not. But who would have thought the Braves? Even mid-season, who would have thought the Braves were going to win the World Series? So you never know. But I think they're going to do well this year. What that translates to by the end of the season, we'll find out. But my response to that is I agree. I think the Mets are going to have a better season than the Yankees. And I'm not saying the Yankees are going to suck and the Mets are going to be great. I think the Mets will have more wins. 1 or 2, 3 or 4, 10, who knows? We'll see in October, but more. I think the Mets will have a better season. As far as the Fox 5 poll goes, yes, you're right. They agree. 52% said Mets will have a better season. 48% said Yankees. So there's only a small margin there.
And I would be willing to bet that was mostly because of the personnel.
Probably. Personnel.
DeGrom, Scherzer.
Right.
Those are two names. You put those guys on a team, you go, well,
yeah,
that's a pretty good season right there. Then you look at the Yankees pitching staff.
Sure.
And you got, what's his name? Who's their ace? I can't remember his name.
Garrett Cole.
Right. And then a bunch of question marks. Yeah.
That's it. So,
but here's listen, we got to see if Cohen gets it right. It really is, I think with the Mets, it's a case of it trickles down, right? Water runs downhill, as they say, right? Mm-hmm. Steve Cohen's got to do a better job this year. Mm-hmm. Seems like he's maybe done that, at least as far as the process was a mess, but the people that are in place are maybe the right ones. Right. Certainly better than the guys that were there.
Much better, yeah.
Right? Epler. Alderson should have less and less to do.
Right.
Right? He should have almost nothing to do.
He should basically just sit back and,
I
make sure everything's running smoothly.
They've just about filled every position, right? With the GM and vice president of operations and vice president of the vice presidency and all that stuff.
And
right? So
vice president and vice president.
We know who's running the show.
Right.
You got Showalter. Either that's going to work or it's not. Mm-hmm. And it probably will. It'll be better, right?
Yeah. So I don't see it being not better.
Yeah. So Cohen's done a better job of being involved, however involved he is, in getting the right people in the right spots. Mm-hmm. And so that should, and the team is, they should be pretty good, right?
Should be.
So they should be better. But they're the Mets.
I'm hoping, but they're the
Mets.
Right?
But for Cohen, you can say the same thing. Until he gets it right, he's only gotten it wrong so far.
Right.
So
he's got a small sample size, but yes, you're right.
Right. But he's in the exact same boat. A smaller sample size, yes, but he's in that same boat with the team as a whole. Until you get it right, you've gotten it wrong.
You got it wrong. I agree.
At least, you go back 7 years. They got it right 7 years ago.
True.
They didn't win, but they got there.
Exactly.
You can't say, oh, they didn't win it, so they sucked.
Right.
Some people might say that, but I can't. You get there, you've done it right.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing as the Braves, and granted the Mets didn't win it in 2015, but the same thing as the Braves last year. In the mid-season, before the trade deadline, before you go a couple of days before the trade deadline, they were all in on Carlos Gomez from Milwaukee, and with Wilmer Flores crying out on the field because he was being traded and everything else, and then that fell apart. And then the next day, I don't know if you remember, but the Mets were actually playing it was the Padres they were playing, and they were winning. They were winning the game, and then there was a rain delay. And it was like a 2-hour rain delay, and they came back and wound up losing the game, of course, because of the rain delay, right? Because whoever was pitching couldn't get back out and pitch again, right? So, of course, Familia came in, and that was the end of that. So.
And the bullpen had to take over, and
exactly.
That was the end of that.
Right. So at that point, I mean, the next day was the trade deadline, and that's when they got Cespedes. But at that point on that Thursday, if I'd have said to you, "Hey, the Mets are going to the World Series," you'd have been laughing your ass off and rolling around on the floor.
Yep.
So it's the same thing every year.
But look, I mean, almost every year there's a team that sort of defies. Well, not almost every year, but many years.
Many years, yeah.
X years out of X, right? There's a team
more
that
often
defies,
than not. There's a team out there that
one team that defies expectations and ends up going to the World Series even if they don't win. So, by the way, Cespedes, name that might be mentioned.
Maybe.
We will later on during our mini list.
During our mini list,
yeah. Mini list, yeah.
We got a mini list tonight. Something new. Something new. List. Look at
that. So all right. So as far as baseball and free agents, you have other Mets stuff you wanted to.
I just on that, so it can actually kick off the free agency talk.
Okay. So the A's are. I don't get it. We talk about the A's a lot, right? And we talk about the success they have with a minimal payroll, right? And they never quite get there. And now they're a good team, and they don't have any fans, and they can't ever afford to keep free agents or whatever.
Right.
Where did the A's end up last year?
Middle of the pack.
Did they get into the playoffs?
They got into the playoffs. Yeah, they got into the playoffs.
Yeah, okay.
They didn't go anywhere, but they got into the playoffs.
Didn't go anywhere, but they got into the playoffs. They were exciting, right, to watch.
Yeah, sure.
Right? A bit of a surprise, but we've seen them do this, right, a number of times.
More often than not.
Right,
same thing, yeah.
Right. And now it's like, okay, that's the pinnacle. Let's break it up.
Right.
It's a fire sale in Oakland, for crying out loud. Now, I can't complain too much because the Mets got an all-star pitcher out of it. Right? And the Yankees got what's his name? Yeah, Olsen, right? And all that, which we'll cover in greater detail. Mm-hmm. And there was somebody else I read about today, who gone from Oakland, who's a one-time all-star or whatever. So I'm like, that's they're like, they get to that point, right? Their payroll was $4, right? Yep. And they had the success that they had. And they're like, we gave it a shot. We're not going to spend another $10 million or anything. Break it up, boys. It's time to start all over.
That's it.
Trade away all stars, and let's get some prospects in here. I mean, that's got to be so frustrating for the people in Oakland.
If
that is your pinnacle. We got to the playoffs, but we didn't win it all. Break it. I mean, at least like the Marlins, right? They won a couple of World Series. And then they, had their fire sales, and they shredded those teams afterwards, or within a year or two. But Oakland's like, this is as good as it gets, folks. Hey, we made the playoffs. Time to break it up, boys. Bassett gone, Olsen gone. I forget the other guy's name.
It's amazing. It really is.
That's Oakland deserves so much better than that. That team, honestly, that team is a marvel almost on a yearly basis. How they do what they do.
Watch them have this fire sale, take these prospects, bring a few of their own prospects and maybe a couple of these along, plus whatever, the pieces they got back for some of these trades, and watch them still do what they do.
Right.
It wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it would not shock me.
It might take him a year or two to get there. Let's see. What did they? All right, they were 10 games over 500 last year.
Right.
Now you had Houston, who won 95. They weren't catching them, right?
No,
and Seattle, who I think had a late run to get to 90 wins. And I think Oakland, let's see. And Houston could have been better than that. They lost 6 out of their last 10. Seattle won 7 out of their last 10, and Oakland floundered and went 4-6 in their last 10. So they were, they were, right there. Second place or close to it. And now it's like, we're done.
Done.
We're going to rebuild.
Unbelievable. Yeah, they got Chris Bassett, obviously went to the Mets. Matt Olson went to the Braves.
To the Braves, yeah.
To the Braves, yeah. He's got an 8-year deal with the Braves.
Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman
went to the Blue Jays.
He went to the Blue Jays, right?
Yeah. I think he's a third baseman or something?
Yeah, third baseman.
Yeah. So that's and he's an all-star too, I believe.
Frankie.
So that's 3
Frankie
of them
Montez,
right there.
Was it? Hold on, I got it right here. Frankie Montez went to Kansas City, Montes, and Sean Manaea has actually reported. It's been reported that Brian Cashman is looking at bringing in Sean Manaea. So again, it's everybody. They're trading around the whole team.
It's a fire sale.
Yeah.
We came in third. We had a late collapse. Mm-hmm. Now, again, if you look at let's take a look here at the old American League. Houston had 95. The White Sox had 93. And then you had 3 from the East.
Mm-hmm.
So Oakland was only 6 games. Right? Yankees and Boston each had 92 wins.
Right.
So they're only 6 games, potentially out of however they would have figured out.
Right.
If everything else remained the same, however they would have figured out the wild card. Right? What do they do?
Right.
Head to head? If they had 92 and Boston had 92 and the Yankees had 92, they'd go head to head or whatever.
It would be head to head and then division and then conference or conference and division or whatever. Yeah.
So another 6 wins and they would have been at least been in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty close.
It's pretty damn
for a
close.
Team that spent $150 on their payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's amazing. It's
and
amazing
now
what
it's
they're able to do every year.
You gone.
Yeah.
You make more than $8 million. You're gone. Everybody who makes more than like $7 or $8 million out the door. All-stars, goodbye.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's
crazy.
Amazing.
So if you need decent players at a cheap price, anybody,
call up Oakland.
Whoever's running things in Oakland, Johnny Bean.
Exactly.
Billy Bean's nephew, maybe.
Oakland is the TJ Maxx of the of the MLB right now.
We got deals, folks. We got deals.
Exactly. So
all right. So Bassett's good for the Mets, right?
Bassett's great for the Mets. He's an all-star pitcher. You think about that right now. You got DeGrom, Scherzer, Bassett at the top of the order. I mean, and then you bring in Carrasco and Walker. Is there a better rotation in baseball?
Yeah. And Bassett, I don't know his numbers. I think he pitched a lot of innings, though, right?
Yeah. No, he's a good innings guy, and he's he's an all-star. So I mean, the Mets only had the Mets had an all-star pitcher last year, Taijuan Walker. So
right.
and he's on the staff too. So the Mets,
Well, you got to figure. Let's see, Walker's probably going to have something of a sophomore slump, right?
Right.
So let's see. Let's take a look at Chris Bassett. 31 and 25.
Mm-hmm.
3.47 ERA. One complete game out of 106. 93 starts. How many innings? 555 innings. So let's see. 144 in 2019, 63 in 2020,
mm-hmm.
and 157 innings in 2021.
157 innings.
Can that be right? IP is innings pitched, isn't it?
Innings pitched, yeah. Yep.
He was 12 and 4 with a 3.15 ERA. Started 27 games. Yeah, okay. There you go.
There you go.
So there's your replacement for what Stroman gave you.
Right.
In that capacity, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we talked about not tiring out the bullpen, and you need it. I mean, DeGrom obviously can, throw 7 every time out. Scherzer can throw 13 every time out. Well, maybe not now because he is a year older, but
he's a whole year older. Yes.
He's yes, you might have him on a pitch count, but if he's grooving, you're going to leave him out there.
Absolutely.
Walker's young.
I'm going to open my beer while we talk about it.
So he's good. And Carrasco, we'll see. Right? Did he pitch like 4 innings last year or something like that?
Yeah. He 4 pitched. Well, he came back late in the season, so.
Yeah, let's see. Carlos Carrasco. There's no reason for me to look this up beforehand.
No, why would you do that?
Let's see. 1 and 5 last year with a 6.04 ERA.
Not bad.
Look at that, 12 starts. Oh, that's more than I thought. So it wasn't so good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. So it was well. He was out all season. So now he's back. He was back at the end of last season. He's had the off season to work out. He's got a little spring training now he can work on. So you expect him to be better. You expect him to be back to not a shell of himself that he was in Cleveland.
Right. Yeah. But I seem to remember we were talking about him coming back for most of the season, right?
Yeah, he didn't come back till August.
Yeah, it's like it was June. We were expecting Carrasco, and then he didn't come back, and then he had a setback. So hopefully having this. So maybe this is the best thing that could have happened. Mm-hmm. Come out and throw 50 innings and suck.
Exactly.
And then rest for a couple months.
There you go.
So, yeah. So a formidable should be a very formidable rotation.
It should be. And, Taijuan Walker, they abused him basically last year. And, and he ran out of gas towards the end of the season, but he was a solid pitcher for most of the season last year. So with these guys and a good, solid bullpen, so that you don't have to, if Taijuan Walker is done in the fifth and you need 4 innings out of the pen, you don't have to push him to the seventh because you can only get 2 innings out of the pen because he's been pitching good, so he won't hopefully, run out of gas in August. It's these are all good things, and they're Mets apparently a couple hours ago it's been reported that they're nearing a deal with Chase and Shreve for the bullpen too. Obviously, he's been on the team before, So it's put the Mets are in a decent position, and
and look, much of the year last year. They were without DeGrom.
Yep.
Right? He only made 15 starts last year.
He was out on, I think he came back and pitched 1 game after Mother's Day.
Right.
Or 2 games. It was out, it was done in June, and that was it. Or end of May, I think even. Around Memorial Day.
Yeah.
But, So,
other guys
signs are pointing up. Signs are pointing good. Yeah.
But my point is other guys were maybe getting stretched a little bit.
Exactly.
And again, he was a guy, DeGrom was not going to go 5.
Right.
When he was healthy. When he's a healthy pitcher, he's not going to go 5. Hopefully.
And
I don't see Buck Showalter doing that. But
no, and here's a big thing too. Last year you had Luis Rojas making these decisions. And other than coaching in or managing in the minors, and obviously on the Mets the year before, what experience did he have? Showalter's not going to let that happen.
Right.
Showalter's going to not look at the game. He's going to look at the season. And he's going to make the right in-game calls while looking at the season, for that. He's not just going to make he's not going to make any in-game calls just thinking about the, outcome of the game. So he's got a lot to think about, and he can do that because he has the experience. So, but anyway.
So before we get to the Yankees.
Sure.
I think you mentioned Chris Bryant.
Yep, Chris Bryant.
Oh, maybe that was before we got on the air.
Yeah, Chris Bryant. It was before we got on the air. Chris Bryant signed with the Rockies. He's going to Colorado.
Make Harry happy.
He's going to make Harry happy.
7 years, $182 million.
7 years, $182 million.
I thought he was a little old for a 7-year contract.
I would have thought that would have been a 4-year deal. A 7. Maybe it's backloaded. I don't know. But hey.
Let's see.
It shows that the Rockies aren't throwing their hands up. Story hasn't gone anywhere, so he's still there.
He was born in 92.
Born in 92, so he's 30 years old.
He's not yet 30.
Yeah, he'll be 30 this year.
Well, January 4th.
So he's 30.
30.
30, yeah. So there you go.
I'm sure. If they're smart, they backload it a little bit. I mean.
Well, he's the last season of this contract, he's 36. If you look at it like that, so.
And he's versatile, so you'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's got the DH now, so.
Yeah, everybody's got the DH.
He can still hit when he's 35. There's your DH.
There you go. Exactly. Jock Peterson went to the Giants.
Yep. Good for him.
So
that means the Giants are going to win.
That means the Giants are going to win the World Series, right? Because wherever Jock Peterson is that year, it's the World Series. So
yeah,
there you go. Right.
He's the who's the kicker in the NFL? Was it Vinatieri?
Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, wherever Vinatieri went, they would win in a couple of years.
That's the Super Bowl, right? So, but yeah, so there's some interesting signings, and there's more to come. We'll talk more about this. I think we're probably going to have a special a baseball baseball only show. There'll be a lot, maybe before.
Shortly before opening day.
Shortly before opening day,
we'll know who's where. Then we should do that. Oh, Kyle Schwarber to the Phillies.
Right?
And
a lot of moves.
Yeah.
Now the floodgates open up. Now these are probably moves that would have, all of these, like in the last week, right? All of these moves would have probably been spread out over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 weeks. They all just came out, obviously, in the last week because of the lockout and the signing the new contract, new agreement by last Thursday. So, but it's interesting though. It makes a lot of interesting talk, and there's going to be more. There's still more pieces out there that people are trying to move, and
the Blue Jays are reports I'm seeing here about they're interested maybe in Jose Ramirez.
There you go,
because they need a second baseman,
and
they just got Chapman. See, this is why I don't know if the Yankees. I don't think the Yankees will be a bad team, and they obviously still have some moves to make. But everybody else is getting better. I mean, the Blue Jays are like, we didn't. They obviously didn't live up to our expectations last year. I think we all expected a little bit more out of the Blue Jays. Not that they were terrible,
right?
But they're making. It seems like they're making a play.
Yeah,
and the Yankees got to watch out.
They do. Sorry, I was just reading this. They have to. They have to watch out. They have to be a little bit more active with this. There's a lot of pieces out there now. Granted, they did make their trade last week or earlier this week, I should say. So you got Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela went back into to Minnesota, and Josh Donaldson is in town, and that included Isaiah Falafel.
It's something. Yeah, I haven't figured out.
Falefa, not falafel. Falefa,
maybe.
And it also included a catcher too. I believe just a smaller piece. Obviously, somebody's probably going to wind up on the. Well, it depends on what they have too, right? Obviously with Gary Sanchez out of there, and it makes Harry incredibly happy. They're going to need
but is that who is the backup guy
that they've had?
Yeah.
What's his face?
The Japanese kid,
Higashioka.
Yeah, Higashioka. Like, you don't want him as your everyday catcher.
No, he's. I don't think he's an everyday catcher. But he knew maybe he is. Maybe he worked. He did catch a lot last year. Sanchez was out for a little bit. And he
Donaldson, Isaiah Falafa, and catcher Ben Rorvid.
Ben Rorvid, yeah, exactly.
Or Rorvid. I don't know. He's got a funky spelled last name. Probably Rorvid. That's what I'm going to go with.
Rorvid. Let's go with Rorvid. I like that.
Yeah. And I think they were talking about him the other day on the radio. I think they like his defense.
Yeah, between Higashioka and Rorvid, there's no power there. There's no hitting there. They're defensive catchers. So obviously Sanchez was a little bit of a defensive liability, and but if his bat was aces, right, then all bets are off. It's fine, right? But obviously that last couple of years has not been the case, which is why he's now in Minnesota and not still on the Yankees. But yeah, so if they just look at the catching position for now to be a non-offense defensive only position with good defense up the middle now, then that's at least an improvement in that respect. But they're probably going to need to go get another bat at some point. Unless they are confident in what just with Rizzo. They re-signed Rizzo, right? They got him now. They got him he's going to be at first base, and obviously that's going to give him a lefty now in the lineup. So that's fine. But what do they do with Luke Voit?
Luke Voigt's probably got to be traded.
Yeah, and
they don't have anything to do with Luke Voit, and he can't stay healthy anyway.
Right.
He can't play anywhere but first base.
Right.
Right. I don't think you want him pinch running.
No.
He can hit the ball, but we don't know if he's a good pinch hitter.
Right.
He can't play every day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's trade bait.
Yep. And it looks like the Pirates are looking for him. They're looking to looking to the Yankees to trade them.
Okay. Let's see. Here is Ben. Oh, they don't give the Ben Rorvetz. Last year, 89 at bats.
89 at bats.
169 batting average.
89 at bats, 160. He was batting 169.
229 OBP, 510 slugging.
Oh, jeez.
12 home runs.
And all of them.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Sorry, that's his 160 game. That's his full season number. 3 home runs. My bad.
3 home runs last year.
Yeah. So 169, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs.
There you go. So again, a defensive catcher. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not an offensive powerhouse by any means.
But apparently he's like a monster, like a big guy, I guess is what they were saying on the radio.
Right. Yeah, he's bigger.
So like if you could teach him to connect, he could end up being he might be he could be like everybody else, a strikeout or home run guy.
Right. And
but
they
like, I guess they do.
Right?
They do like his defense. I don't think either him or Higashioka are going to be you're the starter and you're not.
Right.
I mean,
neither of them.
I don't think that's been decided, but we know that Cole likes Higashioka, right?
Right. Neither of them are going to show signs of Jorge Posada at all.
It could be very much a platoon. Right. Let's see. He's a right-hander. Bats lefty, so they might give him a look.
Maybe.
Let's compare him to.
A little comparison.
I'll talk to myself. All right, you talk for a while while I talk to myself.
While you compare? All right.
Well, I try and figure out how to compare.
There you go. No, I was just going to say the Yankees are rumored to be in on. I mentioned it before. Sean Manaea too. So it's back to Oakland. With all their. I mean, just given. I wouldn't be surprised if Oakland starts trading people that they've traded for at this point. In the door and out. But who the hell knows? In any event, that's there's a lot of moves that have been being made, but the Yankees, and here we go, we're sitting on this right now. They've not done a lot. They shored up first base, but everybody kind of had a feeling that was going to be Rizzo, right? They were going to re-sign him, bring him back in. He was going to play first, and then and have his bat there and done. So that's covered. Now they have Donaldson on the infield, and I don't know if you remember this. There was a little back and forth with Garrett Cole and Josh Donaldson last year, when right after the whole spider tack incident, and when baseball cracked down on foreign substances on the ball,
right,
and doing everything. Josh Donaldson was making comments about Garrett Cole. Couldn't pitch because he needed the spider tack, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well,
blah.
And now they're going to be teammates.
And now they're teammates, right?
Yeah.
So.
All right, let's see. So Higashioka is 31 now. Rorvet is 23. So it's hard to compare their stats. Higashioka, 184 hitter in 139 games, 415 plate appearances. So
139 games last year.
So almost, 400 at bats.
All right.
No, that's a career. They don't have a
that's career. I was going to say that's
no.
Yeah. I was sure that Sanchez was in more than 23 games.
I can't pull up the single season here on this website. At least I don't know how, but let me see. Whatever. So we'll just look at his 184, 20 home runs. That's one every 7 games.
Yeah.
Right, 140 games. So one every 7 games, 56 RBIs. That's horrible. So he's 385 slugging, 619 ops.
So he's got a little bit better, markedly better numbers than.
And he's a right-hander. So they can have two supposedly good defensive, lousy offensive catchers, and they can platoon them lefty-righty, or probably Higashioka would get the majority of the starts.
I would imagine, yeah.
But Roarvet could get a start if Cole's pitching the next day.
Sure.
And the Yankees are still pretty right-handed, I think, in their lineup, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was big as far as, signing Rizzo, because that gives him a lefty.
Right. Well, Donaldson's a right-hander, so.
Yeah.
And
so they got work to do. The Yankees got work to do.
Well, here's the thing that came to my mind is, and there's another thing I heard actually on the radio today, is they were talking about LeMahieu. Now, I've said to Harry over and over, and I think he agrees with me, like LeMahieu is like he's such a good hitter, right?
Right.
His position, so to speak, is second base.
Sure.
A position where you don't often have a lot of really good hitters, right?
Right.
Second base is not known for hitting. Middle infielders in general, right?
Sure.
So what I've said over and over is they're not getting that value because he's rarely playing second base. Now, what I heard on the radio is talking about going back to the press conference, and when they signed him, or at least when they re-signed him, when they brought him in, what they expected was that he would play every day, but he would be a utility guy,
right,
who would play anywhere in the infield except short. That was the Yankees' plan for them, according to Michael Kay, which I don't have any reason to doubt him.
That makes sense. I mean, it does make sense. So
yeah, but I wouldn't it be better to just have a really good hitting second baseman every day?
It would make sense, yeah.
But unless you get, unless you send, what's his name, Torres?
Gleyber Torres, yeah.
Unless you send Gleyber Torres packing, probably not going to happen. I don't know. I mean, LeMahieu's going to bounce around the infield, which, again, if that's what they wanted him for, okay, because you're keeping that bat in the lineup.
Here's the thing now. If he's going to bounce around the infield, right? Now, all right, so, all right, take this. LeMahieu's going to bounce around the infield, right? That's how they're going to get his bat into the lineup. Now, bouncing around the infield means first, second, or third, because he's not playing short. Okay? Right. If they don't want Gleyber Torres to play short, they have to put him on second base. They have Anthony Rizzo on first base. They have Josh Donaldson on third base. Where the hell's DJ LeMahieu going? Was he going to platoon every other inning with one of them?
Well, I guess that's what they're saying. Maybe it's a lefty-righty thing, or.
So you're. Yeah, exactly. But now, so is he playing every day, and one of those three guys isn't?
That's, I guess, is the idea. And plus, they're talking about, I guess, Donaldson.
So every third day. So each of them. So Anthony Rizzo.
Each of those three guys every third day is going to miss a game. So
is going to miss a game,
or I don't know how exactly how they're going to do it. But Donaldson, I guess they were saying he has a history of sometimes he plays a lot of games and other times he doesn't play a lot of games.
Right. Yeah. He's
so you're like, older, what? So... I mean, let's go. Looking at him, this is Josh, right? Josh Donaldson.
Josh Donaldson.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. 2012, 75 games. 2013, 158. 2014, 158. 2015, 158. 2016, 115. 2017, 113. Then 2018, they've got him listed twice with Toronto for a total of 88 games, and then 16 with Cleveland.
So that's 104 games.
Okay, and then 155 with Atlanta, 28 games in 2020, so almost half, right? 60-game season.
So it was a 60-game. It was a 60-game season. So about
half the games, and then 135 last year. The last 2 years with Minnesota. So 162. We had a full season last year.
We had a full season last year, yeah. But if he played games with Minnesota in 2020, then that's why he only played 28 games with the Braves. Because he probably played a couple with Minnesota as well in 2020, which is... No, this says 2019 with Atlanta. 2019 with Atlanta. 2020 with Minnesota. 2020 with Minnesota. 2019 with Atlanta. 2019 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 with Min
2020 with Minnesota.
So 28 games in 2020 with Minnesota, and then 150 something.
Yeah, so 158, 163 out of what's 160 plus 60? 220?
212.
222. So 220 out of 222 with Atlanta, he would have played 160 something.
Right.
So which, is not a lot, but it's not a little. But yeah, there's a little bit of a bounce here.
Yep.
But so what? You're going to hope that he gets hurt for 20 or 30 games so LeMahieu can play third base?
It doesn't make sense. And of all the positions, I mean, that's the one that they probably would want LeMahieu on the least. Granted,
except
play
for shortstop, yeah.
Right, yeah. So I mean,
he's, he should never play short. I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense.
It does, and
if you look, let me ask you this: who is a better hitter, LeMahieu or Torres?
LeMahieu.
Who is a better fielder, LeMahieu or Torres?
LeMahieu.
And why is Torres playing second base? Because he has to.
Because he's better at second than he is at short? I don't know.
Yeah, but you're taking your better second baseman out of the game by putting him there.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. And it can't. I mean, how does DJ LeMahieu? Let's look at where. Oh, geez, how do I find? How can it? What is it? Mahayu? I don't know how to spell anybody's name. Let's go DJ LEM. See what that comes.
L E.
There it is. LEMAHEIU. I was close.
EIU. Yeah.
Mahayu.
Yeah. LeMahieu. LeMahieu.
I don't know. They don't break it down by position. Anyway, my point is, how do you put a guy potentially somewhere different every day and expect him to really perform? I mean, it has to affect his hitting, doesn't it?
Right. Now,
it
has to affect his hitting.
He's a great hitter.
Right. So, in my mind, what they should do is Anthony Rizzo should start at first base. He's the first base starter. Obviously, he's going to need some days off, so you move some people around, whatever. LeMahieu is your everyday second baseman. Okay? If Josh Donaldson's not going to give you 150 some odd games and he's going to be lower, I would platoon Gleyber Torres over there, and whichever of them isn't comes off the bench. I would move Gleyber Torres over to third. I mean, granted he's not a good shortstop. That's why they don't want him there. And second base is his natural position. But I'm sure he can play third.
Right.
Maybe he can't play short, but I'm sure he can play third. So I would put the guy that's the better player at second. This isn't going to happen, obviously, but I would put Torres over on third with Donaldson back and forth, and let him split the season.
Here's LeMahieu, all right? 2015, 150 games, 301.
Or trade Torres. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Maybe that's what they're going to do. 2016, 146 games, 348. Again, he's not a power hitter. 11 home runs. 2017, 155 games, 310. 2018, 128 games, 276. 2019, 327. 2020, 364, 421 ops. 421 on base. 1.011 ops, and the ops plus, whatever that is 178. That were all, let's see. He was the batting average champion.
Mm-hmm.
His on-base ops and ops plus led the American League.
Yep.
Now that was, and 50 games. And then last year, 150 games, 268. Oh, here we go. Games by position. Let's see. Last year, 83 at second, 39 at third. 55 at first.
There you go.
Now, they don't have the stat breakdown by...
Wait, how many games at second?
83.
83.
55 at first.
83, 55 at third.
55 at first, 39 at third.
39. Okay. So that is 100 and... That's 170. That's 177 games.
Yeah, so obviously they moved him. They moved him in some games.
Right.
Right.
How many games did he play for the season?
150.
150. So they moved him an extra 27 times.
Yeah.
177 games.
So he was all over the place. He was everywhere except short and catcher.
Right.
Now let's see. Let's look at the year before that.
Did he pitch at all?
2020, 37 at second, 11 at first, 11 at third. Smaller sample size. 2019, 75 at second, 40 at first, 52 at third. Now, in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, 5 seasons before that, from 2015 through 2019, he was just a second baseman. And then his other seasons, sparingly. The most he had was 14 games at third base in 2013. 11 at third base in 2011, but he only played in almost 40 games that year. I guess that was his rookie year with Chicago.
Rookie year, yeah.
So, some of his most productive years, he was only at second. Although 2019, he was spread out. I don't know. You're really just going to pop him around on the infield? I mean, he's like a reserve, right? Who can hit. We're going to put him in the lineup wherever we need him, except for, shortstop. Wherever somebody's got a sprain or they're injured or whatever. Now he could end up, if Donaldson gets hurt for 10 games, well, DJ will play third for 10 games.
Right. I just think that, if you're going to look at somebody like that on their starting lineup, being like a reserve that can hit, it just makes more sense to have Gleyber Torres filling that role than DJ LeMahieu. It just does. I don't understand why. Is there like this love affair? I get it. But he's not even homegrown, right? They've been traded. They got him in the Chapman deal from Chicago. Gleyber Torres. It's not like he came up in the farm system. He was in the farm system, granted, but he wasn't drafted by the Yankees. They got him in the trade with Chicago when they sent Chapman out there, and then before they took Chapman back. But that's how Torres got to the Yankees. So it's not like he's homegrown per se. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
and again, you've got a guy that hits that well, who's a natural second baseman, who's played over 1,000 games at second base, and you're going to take. You just don't get those kind of hitting stats out of second baseman usually. Now, if he's in the game, if he's in the game every day, then yes, you're going to have those stats in your final mix. But it's not the same as getting that kind of consistency, from your second baseman.
Correct.
So I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence that the Yankees. I don't think they have a plan.
There doesn't seem to be one.
I think they don't really know what to do, and somebody kind of goes, "Hey, this might be a good idea," and they go, "Okay, let's do that."
Yeah, and this seems to be uncharted territory for them too. Like they usually did have. Maybe they didn't need to have the plan because it all came together no matter what they did.
Yeah.
But,
well, let's look at their infield, right? Rizzo's going to be the first baseman, probably, right? Voigt's trade bait, he's gone,
right?
And he can't stay healthy anyway. So Rizzo's going to be your first baseman, right? Third baseman's going to be Donaldson.
Yep.
Unless he gets hurt.
Right.
Shortstop is
the kid that came up last year, right?
Yeah.
It's it's going to have to be him. I know unless they still go out and sign, Correa and Story are still out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
Maybe that's
And
Story's free agent, right?
Really, yeah. I just really believe that they would have done it already if they were going to do it.
Yeah.
And granted, they had the lockout, so they couldn't do anything after December 1st. But if they were going to do it, it would have been done. It's been almost a week since they signed the agreement. Why wouldn't they have done that? And there's not even any chatter about it. You don't see any of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, Jesus.
Realize we've talked about the Yankees more tonight than we normally do with
Well,
Harry.
because they're honestly they're more interesting than the Mets at this point.
The Mets seem to have their shit together right now. Knock on wood,
they made
whatever,
a nice move and brought in a pitcher and stuff. The Yankees, I don't get it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not that smart, I admit, but like, why, if you're gonna pick one guy out of the Yankees lineup right now,
right,
of infielders to build around, it's got to be DJ LeMahieu, isn't it?
It's got to be.
Put him at second base and leave him there and fix things around him.
Right.
So I don't care what you were gonna do 3 years ago when you brought him in.
Well,
assuming Michael Kay is right, they brought him in to be a utility player with a good bat who could play anywhere, and they expected him to play every day. That's a stupid way to do things.
That's an ass backwards way.
You don't take a guy who hits 340 and go, yeah, play here today and play over there tomorrow, and then 2 games over there. We're going to fit you in somewhere. You put him at second base where he plays, and you let him hit 300 plus, for Christ's sakes.
Exactly. It just makes good sense, and I don't know why they don't do that. I don't understand.
I have to assume they're not done.
Yeah, you would think. You would think. I mean, they do have some time, obviously. Opening day's not for another 3 weeks. So, but it's April 7th now. But the other fact of the matter is this: they seem to do that a lot lately. They seem to put too much stock in one player for several years, and even a couple of years more than they should, just because they made that commitment and they don't want to look bad. That's my take on it. It's Harry's take every time we talk about it.
Is he a Glaber fan?
What's that?
Is he a Glaber fan?
He doesn't hate Glaber, but he hates Glaber at short. But he's also of the mindset that DJ LeMahieu needs to play second base, not Glaber Torres. But he said that about all the time about Gary Sanchez. I mean, they probably went a year, maybe even a little longer, a little too long with the Glaber with the Gary Sanchez experiment.
Right. What honestly, what does Torres bring? He's a quality. I'm looking at his 2018 271. Okay, 24 home runs. There it is. Mm-hmm. 2019 278, 38 home runs. That was when you should have traded him.
Right then.
Last year 243 with 3, played in 42 games, so 2/3 of the season in 2020. Or I should say 2020, excuse me. Last year 259, 9 home runs. So he's not the player he was 4 years ago and 3 years ago.
Not at all. No, he's not. He's not. Which makes absolutely no sense as to why you're leaving him at second base and moving DJ LeMahieu around. None whatsoever.
Let's see. Games by position. 193 second base, 246 at short. But he sucks at short, right?
Yeah, he's not a good shortstop.
Okay, so trade him.
Mm-hmm.
So trade him and go with the kid. Go with the defensive shortstop who doesn't hit.
Right.
LeMahieu gets to play second every day. Donaldson gets hurt. I don't know, whoever you got. Then what? Then if he gets hurt for an extended period of time, you want to move LeMahieu, okay. You put somebody else at second base, or you put somebody else at third. Right. You ought to have somebody on your bench.
A hot corner. You need somebody with a glove, So
right. Somebody you ought to have somebody on the bench who is at least good enough to play there if Donaldson has to miss 20 games.
Right.
Right. You shouldn't have to go, well, I guess we'll put our second baseman over there, put him, quote unquote, out of position, and then put somebody. Or I don't know, like if you're going to keep Torres, sit his ass down. I don't know. Is he a good pinch hitter?
He should. That's what he should be doing right now with the way he's been hitting and the way he's been playing. He should be coming off the bench. He should be the one moving around. When LeMahieu needs a day off, he plays second. When Rizzo needs a day off, he plays first. When Donaldson needs a day off, he plays third.
He's never played first or third.
You're a Major League Baseball player, kid. Figure it out.
But he could be your fill-in shortstop and second baseman.
Yeah, in a pinch he could fill in a short. Not that they're going to be happy about it, but he could.
Right. No, I'm saying if whoever your shortstop is goes down for 30 games, mm-hmm. You don't want Glaber Torres to be filling in for the next 3 weeks. No,
a day or two here or there, is one thing, but not a month's worth of games. No.
But absolutely. I mean, look, he's at 268. It's 4 years. 436 games, 268 hitter, but he's got pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
nice. He had Pop.
He had Pop, yeah.
He had Pop.
So, it's whatever. Probably still there. Who knows? Yeah, he's the guy you ought to be filling in.
Yeah. So. Well, on that note, that's the state of the Yankees right now, and pretty much.
Like I said, they're more exciting than the Mets right now.
Yeah. Exciting in the way of newsworthy, and the fact that they're not doing as much, and I mean they left a lot of people. Saying, desiring more. A lot of Yankee fans were saying, "This is our team last year," and they haven't really done a whole lot to make it different. So, we'll see how that progresses and everything. But
all right, so let's get to the elephant in the room.
Go for it.
I know we have football to talk about.
We have football.
This show's not going to be short. You know that.
Well, yeah, another hour.
You know that. Post. I don't want to see your stupid. They put these paywalls up. Anyway, the elephant in the room is vaccines.
Yes, that was
my next. It ain't just about Kyrie. These guys on the Mets and the Yankees both play in New York. Now, hold on. Here's my son calling. Let me put this on speaker.
Yeah.
Hello?
Is there a spare key?
A spare key? Are you outside?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm home.
Yeah, do you have like your noise canceling headphones? I expand the doorbell.
Oh, yeah, I have my headphones on.
Okay. Well, we didn't hear it.
Yeah, hang on. I'll come down and let you in a second.
Okay.
All right, say hi to the podcast audience.
Hey.
Brilliant. I'll be right back.
There you go. So
anyway, what I was going to say, these guys play in New York. They better get vaccinated.
You got it. So I'll let you know about that a little bit. Right now the word on the street is obviously since Kyrie can't play, and it's private sector, right? That's what we're talking about here. It's the vax ban, not the ban, the vax issues and everything else with in New York City have been lifted, and the masks have been lifted, but the private sector vaccine requirement is still intact, which is why Kyrie can't play. But it makes no sense, and we've talked about this before. Kyrie with the Nets cannot play in home games. He can play anywhere else, any road games. Obviously, we'll talk more about what he did last night. Bested his Tuesday last week, but he can't play at home. However, it's just because the private sector entity, the Brooklyn Nets, are from New York City, right? Any other team has unvaxxed players. They can play in New York because their team is not from New York City. It makes no sense. It's so ass backwards, it's ridiculous. But now it's falling over to baseball, all right? And baseball is the word at the street right now. You're muted. I didn't mute you. There you go. All right.
That is crap. I don't know what you said, but it's crap.
It's all crap, yeah. The word of the street right now is that unvaxxed Yankees and Mets are not going to be able to play in regular season home games, or any home games for that matter, because because of the private sector, requirement right now. But what I've been hearing over the last, say, 24 plus hours is that there's not a lot of worry about it because Major League Baseball has gotten together, and I guess representatives from the Yankees and the Mets are sitting down with the mayor's office. Not so much because, they're trying to end this lunacy, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the fact that other teams can come to, like, all right, let's hypothetically say there's 5 New York Yankees that can't play in home games because they're unvaxxed, but they're playing the Rays, right? Tampa's coming up for a series, and there's 10 unvaxxed Tampa Bay Rays. They can play in the game. It makes no sense whatsoever. But the whole fact of the matter is this: they're working on it because it's outdoors. It's not indoors. This is an outdoor game. They're not playing inside an arena. They're not playing inside a building. They're playing outside. So if they can make provisions for other areas that they can go into, or maybe they wear masks or whatever they do when they go into the locker room. I mean, that's private. I don't know. Whatever they're doing. The bottom line is actually playing the game. Whatever they do before and after is irrelevant. What they're actually doing while they're playing the game, they're outside.
Yeah.
They're outside. So, they're working on it. So it doesn't seem that the Yankees and the Mets are as, fingernail biting worried about this issue as you would think they would be.
Well, it depends who's vaccinated and who's not.
Well, no, I just mean as far as them being able to work something out with the city. That's, so.
I don't know, man. Adams doesn't play around.
No, he doesn't.
You're going to work out with the city is him lifting the mandate.
Right. Well, that's just true, too. But then on the flip side of that, Canada has the same ban.
Right.
All right. So any team that's going up to play the Blue Jays, if they have unvaxxed players, they cannot even enter the country, let alone play in the game.
Yeah.
They stay home. They meet them at the next place, unless they're coming home. They don't even get on the plane if they're unvaxxed. And that's a country thing. That's not just a New York City private sector law. That's an actual.
Right. That's the entire country
of Canada. Of right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, by the way, I guess the Yankee shortstop is going to be Kiner Falefa.
Okay.
That's his position.
Kiner Falafel.
Yeah, Falefa.
Falefa.
Could be Falefa.
Could be Falefa.
Wiz Khalifa and Kiner Falefa. Putting out an album together.
He's related to Wiz Khalifa.
So yeah, he played 158 games for Texas. So 271, 8 home runs, 50 RBIs, 20 stolen bases.
There you go.
So assumedly he's a decent defender, a little bit of speed, not much pop. So there you go. So that to me,
that's your shortstop.
I don't know if that makes Torres. Does that make Torres even more expendable?
I think so. I mean, but I don't know why you just don't put him on the bench. I mean, you need bench players, right? I mean,
I guess right.
And then the DH too. So I mean, he can factor into that. Who knows? That is not up to you and I to decide.
No.
That's up to. That's up to, right?
Who?
Harry.
Yes. Oh yeah.
It's up to Harry to decide that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he'll let us know what the deal is and what
we'll tell him what our thoughts are, and we'll see what his are based on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't love this move for the Yankees. I said that before. I say it again. But yes, this is a problem.
Well, I think they made
every team going to Canada.
Do you think they made the right? Exactly. I'm just really quick on the Yankees. Do you think they made the move just to make a move? Or they just wanted to get rid of Sanchez so much it didn't matter who they were getting back.
They couldn't just continue to do nothing, right?
Right.
I don't. Well, hang on. I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you. Those of you on the audio podcast, if you go to the video podcast and go to 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 40 seconds, you will actually see a silent sneeze from RadioPete.
See my head explode.
There you
go. Yeah, I guess, look, if you have decided, which maybe they apparently have, or maybe they just caved to the pressure, even if they didn't feel this way, right. The Gary Sanchez experiment is over.
I think it was over a year and a half ago.
Is never going to be the player that he was, and we need to get rid of him.
Yep.
To me, that's why they made this move, I think.
Yeah.
We need to do something because the fans are going to cut our heads off if we don't. And so he's gone. He's useless.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't have to worry about his potential. You don't have to worry about playing him.
Right.
You don't have to worry about hurting his feelings because your staff ace likes the backup guy.
Right.
And again, I don't believe they're done, but I think this was a move. We have to get rid of Gary Sanchez. Let's at least fill one of our infield holes.
Right.
Or have some sort of permanence. Let's put an anchor on third base.
Right.
And an all-star anchor at that. Well, again, if he stays healthy, that's a great get.
It is. It'll work.
It's a great get. So
all right. Moving on. One other thing in baseball before we do the quiz and get to some football. I just want to point out one fact that even though we all overshot when opening day was going to be, I was the closest. So
yeah, well, that hasn't happened yet.
Well, it actually didn't start yet, but assuming that nothing else happens and they don't extend the season, and even if they do it 2 weeks, I picked April 21st. So
yeah, that's true. Well, you're always right, John.
Patting myself on the proverbial back again.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, we should probably mention Pete Alonso.
Yes.
What the hell, man?
Unbelievable.
That guy's the Terminator.
Unbelievable.
Did you see the pictures of that crash?
Yep.
That was nasty.
Could you imagine?
He was in a tank, basically.
Right. He was in a Ford F-350 pickup. I mean, the roll bars were in there, and he.
But still, I mean, I'm sure that he's stiff and sore and all that.
He says he's fine, But could you imagine his wife was in a car behind him and watched that happen?
Yeah. But he got a little scratch on his arm. No broken bones or torn or anything, at least as far as we know.
He kicked the window out and climbed out of the car.
The windshield.
Kicked the windshield
out.
Kicked the windshield out and climbed out of the car.
On its side. He kicks it out like in a movie and gets out. So
right. There you go.
Yeah, listen, he can play some DH this year.
There you go.
He can be DH.
He can be DH and put Dom at first. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that they got going on there too. So I mean, they can A/B them both between DH and first. It's beautiful. So and Dom can play.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if Dom Smith is an everyday player.
No, he's not. That's my point. He can. But I mean, he's got a decent bat and he can play a good first base. He actually probably. Defensive wise, he's probably better than Alonso.
Right.
But
no, I'm just saying you don't want him in there every day.
No. So anyway, when I say BM, I don't mean every other day. I just mean,
right.
When Alonso needs a day off, Dom Smith can play first. So.
Right. Or if you're coming up against somebody with a bunch of lefties.
Right.
You put Dom at first.
Right.
But I'm saying if Dom isn't at first, I don't necessarily want him at DH every day.
No.
I don't want his bat in the lineup.
Look,
his bat as an everyday player is just not that good.
Robinson Cano is probably going to be the most to play the most DH
probably
this year. So.
Probably. Don't get me wrong. I love Dom Smith, but I just think he doesn't. He is a mediocre major league batter.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Right.
I mean, until he shows otherwise.
He's got some pop, but. He's got to put it together, but he's got a good glove at first, so if they need to.
He does.
All right, time for the quiz. Ready?
All right, the quiz. Yeah.
Told you I wasn't going to tell you, so it's a surprise. Here we go.
Okay.
Tonight's quiz. We're taking a break from all of the basketball stuff, obviously, without Harry. So tonight's quiz is baseball related. All right. Best food choices at Citi Field.
Oh.
Current food choices at Citi Field. I'm going to give you 6. 4 have to stay. 2 got to go.
Listen, this is my official quiz
list sheet of paper. There you go.
Yep, scrap paper here.
There you go. Gotta love it. So you can keep track of them. There you go. All right. So tonight's quiz once again, and hopefully by next week with Harry back, we'll actually have theme music for the quiz.
Before we start, I just want to say, either Tom Brady or Mike Ditka are out. If they happen to be in this quiz.
All right.
So don't even mention them.
If either of them are food choices at Citi Field. All right.
Then we're all in trouble.
All right. So best food choices at best current food choices at Citi Field. Not of all time. Best current food choices at Citi Field. I'm giving you 6. 4 got to stay. 2 got to go. Who are you keeping? Which ones you keeping? Here we go. All right. Number 1. The Tom Brady slushie. No, I'm kidding. Just joshing. All right, here we go.
Tom Brady 12-inch hot dog.
Exactly. 12, yeah. TB12. TB12. The TB steak 12. There you go. All right, there we go. All right, now here we go. Here we go, kicking it off. The Polar Burger from Pat LaFreda. We actually talked about this last year.
Right.
On one of the shows. The Polar Burger.
The Alonso Burger.
The Pete Alonso Burger. Yeah, the Polar Burger.
What is
Polar
that?
Burger.
All right, let's go over what they are.
It's just a, we had it.
It's not made of polar bear, is it?
No, it's not made of polar bear. No.
Okay, that's
it's Pat LaFreda meat, and it's got, I think it's got onion rings or onion something, strings maybe, lettuce, tomato. It's got 2 sauces on it or mustard or something like that. And the bun is really good. It looks delicious. I'm gonna have to get one this year. I
gotta look it up.
A couple of games, but
all right, let's hang on because I gotta know what's on it. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. Pat LaFreda's black truffle blended burger patty.
There you go.
New York maple spice caramel onions, smoked Gouda cheese.
Gouda.
Gouda, I know. There was
That wasn't for you. That was for, the listeners.
When I worked at Panera.
What's Gouda cheese?
When I worked at Panera, we had a manager that didn't know what the hell.
Called it Gouda?
Yeah. Gouda cheese. Are we out of Gouda cheese for the... Yeah. Lettuce, tomato, and claw sauce.
Claw sauce. Yes, that's right.
Right. Now, it is on a brioche bun, which is a strike against, in my opinion.
I don't particularly like brioche buns.
They're okay.
I like a good potato bun. Nice
the
soft
brioche buns are just, they can be too bulky. But anyway, the burger itself is great.
They tend to get, if they're not super fresh, they tend to get a little dry and mealy too.
Yep. Side of Arctic onions.
Yep.
Polar spiced shaved Vidalia onions and claw sauce. All right, so that's pretty good. So you got caramelized onions, Gouda cheese, and a black truffle burger, basically.
So I'm going to have to get one of those this year. But anyway, so Polar Burger's number one on the list. Here we go.
$16.50, by the way.
There you go.
Which I will take price into my... Well, I might take it into
take it into consideration. All right.
All right, what's next?
All right, next one is the risotto balls from Arancini Brothers.
Okay.
All right.
Let me look that up.
You want to look them up really quick?
Yeah.
The risotto balls from Arancini Brothers. So there you go. What do they look like?
Risotto balls at City Field.
I should have went and got actual pictures of them and had a list, so you didn't have to do this. I just figured the description of what it was would be enough for you to,
Well, who knew that I was going to actually... I don't have a picture of them. All right, let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
All right, so you got the classic ragu with tomato meat sauce, peas, and mozzarella.
There you go.
You got the Bianco Verde with the basil pezzo and the pesto and the mozzarella. You got the pizza bowl, Italian style margarita pizza with tomato, mozzarella, and the basil. Taco, seasoned ground beef, salsa, sour cream, cheddar, cornmeal crust. You got the Mozz bowl with the mozzarella. And the famous Nutella, chocolate hazelnut with cinnamon sugar.
There you go. All right.
Okay.
That's number 2. All right. Number 3, the brisket sandwich from Blue Smoke Barbecue.
Brisket from Blue Smoke. I'm gonna use the same window that I have the risotto balls up in, so that kind of tells you where I'm leaning with the risotto balls. Blue Smoke
Barbecue City Field brisket sandwich.
Brisket sandwich. City Field. See, we'll take the quiz and we'll stretch it out to fill the time that the top 10 list and old balls normally would.
There you go.
All right, let's see. Oh, no picture? Oh, boo. Let's see. That's on the Blue Smoke website, too. Let's see this one. Not much of a picture, but looks good. All right, let me see. So, this is the hickory smoked beef brisket sandwich.
Yep.
All right. Chopped 5-pepper beef brisket on a potato roll. Well, they make it sound appetizing. All right. This is the Blue Smoke website. That's all it says.
Well, I'm sure it's the same,
No, but I'm saying that's their description.
Right. Give it an All right. Next.
All right. Well, no, I'm sure it's very good.
All
right.
Next is the bacon and cheese frites by Box Frites. And for those of you who are not sure what a frite is a French fry.
It's a French fry. That is
from
French
Belgium.
French fry. Who makes them?
Box Frites.
B-O-X?
B-O-X Frites, yeah. F-R-I-T-E-S. Frites. Bacon and cheese frites. Specifically the bacon and cheese. They have several different ones.
Got it.
Specifically the bacon and cheese frites.
Box Frites, 24 photos and 30 reviews.
There you go. What do you think about those?
Let's take a look. See if anybody. Oh, that looks like mac and cheese frites right there.
There you go. Mac and cheese frites. Wow, look at that.
Oh no, that's sweet potato fries. Well, looks like they have a poutine.
They have a bunch, yeah. They have a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
Specifically the bacon and cheese frites.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
$9.25. Oh, let's see. Polar Burger was $16.50. The risotto bowls were whatever. They're cut already.
I think they were 12 something. I think you said.
Yeah, the brisket was 11.
Yep.
And these are 9.25.
Yep.
These look good.
All right.
Messy.
Well,
good.
of course.
Yeah.
All
right.
Next one, hot pastrami on rye by Hot Pastrami on Rye.
Okay.
So the stand is hot pastrami on rye, and they serve hot pastrami on rye. That is the food. What do you think?
Not that website.
That's for later.
Let's see. Bases loaded. Big Mott's Blue Smoke. Oh, box frites. City Steak. From the thread. Oh, they're not. Oh, there we go. No links. Hang on. Ooh, NewYork.ny.eater.com. This guy ought to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you showing pictures of people at the stand? No food pictures. All right. Well, it's hot pastrami on rye.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna look really good no matter what. Even if it's not a good sandwich, it's gonna look really good if you look at a picture. So,
let's see. Blue Smoke.
By the way, it's pretty damn good. Just to let you know.
Keith's Grill, Catch of the Day, Mamas of Corona, El Verano Taqueria, hot pastrami on rye. There we go. Section 135. It looks good. It's kind of plain, though.
Well, it's hot pastrami on rye, right? You put a little mustard on it. You got a pickle on the side.
And it comes with a pickle on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Bread's not toasted, which is okay. But I think in this case it might be better if it was toasted.
Okay, fair enough.
This looks like a bunch of slabs of pastrami on bread.
Which is exactly what a hot pastrami on rye is.
Yeah, it looks like they got a little mustard on it. Oh, they have packets of Gold's. Gold's is the official mustard of Citi Field.
Absolutely.
It doesn't say how much it is.
Gotcha. But I think it's in the $12 neighborhood.
Yeah, let's call it 10 to 12.
Right.
Not that really matters. These are all close. I mean, the Polar Burger's a bit out, but all right. Hope pastrami on rye.
And the last one, the sausage and peppers from Premio.
All right, let's see if we got that on this.
I can tell you right now that's $8.75.
Sausage and I tell you the tacos look.
Unless it went up this year, it's $8.75.
Sausage and pepper.
Sausage and pepper sandwich.
Oh, Premio. I buy them in the supermarket.
Premio, yeah. Yeah, they have Premio kiosks all over Citi Field, and you want sausage and peppers, you go to the Premio kiosk. You get hot or sweet. It's a good size sandwich too. Good size.
I like their stuff.
It's good. It's a good sandwich.
I like that they put. They now do the. In the store, they have the package with the 6, and it's half sweet and half hot.
Right.
Because that's what we like to do in our past. Says ooh, so there it is. Held in the hand.
Yeah.
Like okay, then they have this is ridiculous. These people don't know how to do a food site.
No.
Hi, we're Barbara and John. Here you'll find delicious gluten-free and low-carb recipes plus blah blah blah.
So there you go.
Gluten-free sausage and peppers at Citi Field. All right, there's a picture of the end of it in the hands. All I see is looks like whatchamacallit.
Weird.
I guess it's onions. I was going to say it looks like what do you have with pastrami? The sauerkraut. Sauerkraut. But I think it's onions. Or maybe it is sauerkraut. I don't. Shouldn't be.
No, there's no sauerkraut on that.
Sausage and peppers and onions, yes.
Sausage, peppers,
so
and onions.
Mostly onions. I can't even see the sausage. I have no idea that it looks decent size, but I don't know how long it is or anything.
It's a pretty decent sized sandwich for
you have
$8.75.
so. Then they have a picture of the field. Then they have a picture of the two guys making it who look like they don't want their picture taken.
I'm glad you said it and not out. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but not while I'm eating my not on a picture of a sausage site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's to the workers that are making the sandwich.
Right. No,
yeah.
I gotcha. I understand.
But they don't look like they want their picture taken either.
They don't look like they wanted the picture taken.
And then a picture of Mr. Met. All right. Well, okay. And then I don't know. There's looks like a generic. All right.
All right. So what?
Oh, and then instructions on how to make it.
You're not allowed. You're not really required to make it yourself. So.
No, I think that's the Barbara and John's.
Oh, it's Barbara and John's. I got you. All right. So out of those, the Polar Burger, the risotto balls, the brisket sandwich, the bacon and cheese frites. Sorry, hot pastrami on rye, and sausage peppers and onions from Premio. Which would be your 4? Which 4 are you keeping?
All right, risotto balls are out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what risotto is.
It's a heavier rice, basically. It's like it's like a hybrid rice pasta kind of thing.
Yeah, you can kind of make it out of anything. I've heard of like cauliflower risotto. It's just the shape of right.
It's the shape of
it's like a little tiny
thicker,
rice,
fatter rice,
nuggets,
and that's right.
So it's a rice bowl with stuff in it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, not for $12 or whatever the hell it is, or $9 or whatever. Mm-hmm. Polar Burger is expensive. I mean, $16.50, but it sounds really good. Gouda cheese, caramelized onions, and
the onions go really well with the Gouda cheese.
Yeah, and you got the fried onions on the side.
Sure.
So it comes with a side that is not boring French fries. So
Right.
Polar Burger, you're in, baby. Plus, you got the truffle in the meat, black truffle.
There you go. That's always cool.
So risotto balls are out. The bacon and cheese frites. Well, my wife and I, we went many years ago, pre-children and all that. We went to the Europe.
Went to the Europe. I've read about it.
Spent some time in London, and then she actually has an aunt who lives in the south of France. Nice. So we went to Gay Paris for a few days. Sure. And saw the sights there, and then we went to visit her aunt and uncle and stayed there for like a week.
Gotcha.
And I ate a lot of steak au poivre.
Okay.
Because it was delicious, and it was everywhere, and it was good.
Yep. And
always frites on the side.
Always.
Even though they're just French fries, I like it's frites, box frites. So, which, by the way, in case you don't know this, not that I speak French, but let's see, box. You would not pronounce the X if that were the French word, but box.
It would be beau.
Yeah. Because when it's just an X, it's silent, like Prix, like P-R-I-X. It's the Grand Prix. It's not the Grand Prix, right?
There's a couple of Grand Prix I know.
Well, yeah, but that's a different kind of.
Right.
However, when you have a prix fixe menu, right, where it's a certain amount and you get to choose from a couple of appetizers and then a couple of entrees, right?
Right.
That's F-I-X-E. So when you have the E on the end, you pronounce the X.
Right.
So this would be beau frites. But I don't think box is a French word.
It's not.
So it's Americanized.
Pretty much.
So it's a melding of the languages.
Gotcha.
And it's frites, and they do look pretty good. Messy. But if there's no one in the seat in front of you, you can just hold the thing out over that, and then hopefully anything that falls off
falls in that seat. Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we'll keep them.
All right. Sounds good.
So they're in. Sausage and peppers you got to keep in.
Of course.
I question whether it'll be good, but you said there's a bunch of them around the stadium.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Premio kiosks all around.
Yeah, and
the
it
stadium,
looked like kind of a small kiosk.
Yeah, it's a small one, but they always and it's always fresh. They're not they
right.
Have,
that's what I mean. If
they're making it. Yeah,
if there were one place where you went and they were making, 250 pounds.
If you walk up and grab one and pay, walk or grab one. No, they're. I mean, there's stuff on the grill, but. Right. There's enough of a line that there's fresher stuff coming right behind it. So
that's what I mean. If it were one place, they would have to, make some of it beforehand. And anytime you super mass produce stuff, the quality goes down.
Sure.
So a smaller kiosk, I'm going to assume, and I do like the sausage, so they're in.
All right.
So that leaves hot pastrami and the brisket sandwich.
Right. Which you gonna go with? What could it be? I
think I had blue smoke once. I don't think I had the brisket, though.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it was something different.
Mm-hmm.
The hot pastrami looks good. I'm not a lover of pastrami.
Okay.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what my other choices are.
Right.
I don't think I would ever...
go that route.
Yeah, I don't think I would really. Maybe trying to think about if I ever ordered it in the diner.
We're putting way more thought into this than we actually do with any of them.
I know, and that's going to drive Pat crazy. We spent 44 minutes on the quiz. He looked up pictures of the food and the prices, dug into his memory deeper than he's ever dug into the internet for anything on the show. You should have seen it, Pat. It was beautiful. You would have loved it.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever ordered a pastrami. Maybe once or twice in the deli or in the diner. When you go, I want something different.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to go brisket.
Going brisket. All right. So you're going.
Pastrami is out and risotto balls out.
All right. So you're going Polar Burger from Pat LaFreda. You're going brisket sandwich from Blue Smoke Barbecue. You're going bacon and cheese frites from Box Frites. And you're going sausage and peppers and onions from Premio.
Yep.
All right.
Bread, potato, bread.
There you go. Starch galore.
Although pastrami and rye has bread. And
this is true.
Risotto is
starch.
which is a grain anyway.
It's all starch, so it's...
Yeah, probably better. Rice is probably better for you than wheat. Unless it's white rice, processed white rice.
This is true, right? Yeah.
But honestly, brown rice sucks.
Never
eat that. Have you ever had brown rice sushi?
Oh, yeah.
Pass.
No, it doesn't pull together. You pick it up, it's especially when it's,
All right, so there we go.
On the note of, I'll give you mine really quick.
Sure.
Same as yours except for one, and I will tell you.
Should I guess?
Sure.
I think you're going to keep the pastrami on rye
and get rid of.
And
what am I getting rid of?
I think you're getting rid of the sausage and peppers.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
The fries. Frites?
The frites. Yep.
Getting rid of the frites. That was my instinct.
It was your instinct.
So you don't want frites. That's $9.25 for frites. Yeah.
Got to try the Polar Burger. I may not get it again ever, but I got to try it once this year.
But you had it. Okay.
But I had it. The brisket sandwich is delicious. The hot pastrami on rye is delicious. I am a lover of pastrami. So I will get that pretty much all the time. And the sausage and peppers and onions from Premio, no matter what I've eaten, no matter what else I've eaten in City Field, no matter what I've eaten prior to getting there in the parking lot, no matter what I'm eating after, I always have a sausage and peppers and onion sandwich from Premio.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like when you go to the fair.
Right.
And you're like, we're not going to spend a lot of money on food at the fair. Like when you were younger, you would go to the fair and you would eat at the fair, right?
Right.
That was ridiculously outrageous prices, but still.
Sure.
So now, as we get older and we have children,
right,
we're like, we'll get a couple of things at the fair. One of them is always sausage and peppers.
Right.
Oh, so yeah, that makes sense.
There you go. So
now, have you had the risotto balls?
I have not had the risotto balls.
Okay.
I have not.
So you're putting that on your list without having tried it.
I'm putting it on my list without having tried it. You're absolutely right. So, but I mean,
right.
Look, it's of these six, those are the four that if I had to only have four, those are the four I'm keeping. It doesn't mean I don't want to try the risotto balls, and it doesn't mean that I'm not. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to try the bacon and cheese frites, because I probably will.
So you've had the pastrami.
I've had the pastrami. I've had the brisket. I've had the sausage and peppers many, many times. I have not had the polar burger.
All right.
But I will,
so here's what we'll do.
I will have that this year.
Here's what we'll do.
What's that?
We'll go to a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got a couple of options here.
Mm-hmm.
We can either each get the polar burger.
Okay.
In fact, what I would suggest is that if we can go to 2 games,
mm-hmm.
We could each get the polar burger, and we'll split a bacon and cheese frites.
Fair enough.
That way we'll have some fries, and we'll have the onions with the polar burger.
Sure.
And then the other time we'll get a pastrami on rye, and we'll get a risotto balls,
mm-hmm.
and we'll split.
We'll split them.
We'll share. Since you love the pastrami,
mm-hmm.
and I can eat half of it, I don't have to eat the whole thing.
Sure.
And we'll both try the risotto balls. And then both of those times we'll get sausage and peppers too.
Sure.
because
you have to. You have to get it.
So how does that sound?
That sounds like a plan. I'm marking it down here. 2 games.
Better. So burger and frites game, one of the 2 games,
mm-hmm.
and risotto and pastrami the other,
mm-hmm.
and sausage and pepper times 2.
Nice. All right, cool.
And
there you go.
Then you could drop me at the hospital,
and I'll drop you off at
on the way home. Which hospital gets closest to the 7 train?
Northwell Health, I guess. Right.
There we go.
There you go.
I got a strong account with them.
There you go.
They know me.
All right. Frequent flyer card. There you go. So anyway, all right. So let's do this now. Let's shift gears into NFL.
All right.
Talk about a couple of the things that have gone down over the last week. We talked about some stuff last week. There was more stuff last week than there was this week, so it was a couple of things to mention. Giants-wise, they signed offensive lineman Mark Lewinsky to a 3-year, $20 million deal. Mark Lewinsky.
What does he do?
Mark Glowinski. You don't know what he does, really? He's an offensive lineman.
Oh, okay. Where'd he come from?
He was most recently on the Colts.
Okay. Is he any good?
He's very good. He's very good. A little older.
Okay, so they're making their offensive line better finally.
They're making their offensive line better. Yes, exactly.
All right, good for them.
Mm-hmm. And then the Giants. They also signed another offensive lineman too. So they're shoring up. They're shoring up our offensive line. And then the elephant in the room is they signed Tyrod Taylor as quarterback. They gave him $5.5 million a year. So he's got an $11 million contract, of which 6 or 8 some odd million is guaranteed, and he's also got incentives, which he probably will not hit unless he's playing. That could bring him up to $17 million. But they're incentives, right? It's not part of the contract. So, but look, bottom line, I don't mind this move. Tyrod Taylor is a decent quarterback. He actually played decently for the Texans last year, and then he was decent on the Chargers, before he got hurt, and they brought in, they brought up to start Justin Herbert. And then years ago, he was on Buffalo, so there's your connection, right? He was the starting quarterback in Buffalo prior to Josh Allen.
Right, did they draft him?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So he's got some connections there. But right out of the bat, they've improved that backup quarterback, right? Because he can run circles. Tyrod Taylor can run circles around Mike Lennon. So
yeah, I kind of put him maybe not quite the same skill set. Or I should say maybe not quite as good, but sort of like a Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
Good backup quarterback, had a couple shots at starter, but maybe just didn't quite have the goods.
Right.
And Bridgewater's a better quarterback, I think. But Tyrod Taylor, he's mobile, right?
Yep.
Yeah, listen, you give anybody protection and they can probably produce something.
Right. Yeah. You're better off. You're better off with a mid-level quarterback and a solid offensive line than you are with a top-tier quarterback and a garbage offensive line.
And a sieve, yeah. Taylor's not a guy you want throwing downfield.
No, not at all.
But he can make the short throws.
Short throws, dump-off passes, check downs, screen passes, the flat, post here and there. No.
Assuming DJ is going to be your starter,
yeah.
If he goes down, you're more comfortable, a heck of a lot more comfortable with Tyrod Taylor coming in. Absolutely. And not blowing up the place.
Right. On that note, Evan Ingram is no longer a Giant because he was an unrestricted free agent. He's now a Jaguar. They signed him to a 1-year, $9 million contract. So Evan Ingram will be in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball to him. And we'll see how he does down there.
Oh, speaking of Bridgewater, he's now a Dolphin. Yay.
He is a Dolphin, yes.
Good for him.
There you go. Steelers.
So they're worried about Tua.
Yeah. Exactly. The Steelers signed Trubisky to a 2-year deal.
They're
so that's the diatribe that we had from Harry last week on the Trubisky coming to the Giants thing. That's moot. So that's good.
Yep.
The Jets.
What are the Steelers thinking?
I don't know. I mean, there's your quarterback, right? I mean, because it's not like they signed him for a backup, unless they think Mason Rudolph is going to beat him out for the job. Mitchell Trubisky is going to be your starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
This obviously is not a vote of confidence for Rudolph.
Mm-mm.
Well, I guess I don't know. You think maybe they'd kind of like to this is where I'm getting old and forgetful. What's the coach's name?
Of who?
Pittsburgh.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, thank you. Maybe they'd like to get Mike Tomlin out of there, but they can't fire him because he's black and all the firestorm going on, and they don't want to deal with that. So They're like, let's give him a real shitty quarterback that he can't win with. Years from now, we can fire his ass because we'll suck.
There you go. Believe me, I wish that happened. I wish that happened this past year because there's your Giants head coach right there in a second. So,
I don't know. How could you possibly? I mean, I guess you could consider Trubisky still has some potential, but
who knows?
How long has he been in the league? Did he come in the same year as Jones?
He came in the same year as year before. He came in the same year as actually 2 years before. Came in the same year as Patrick Mahomes. So 2016. So this is his 6th year in the league. 7th year.
But he's on his second deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was done. I mean, they let him walk in Chicago. So last year was his 6th year. They got a 1-year deal from Buffalo, so now he's on the 7th year. So, yeah.
Okay, so the rookie they had him 5, and then they extended it for a 6th year.
Well, no, they had him 4, and they extended him for a 5th year, and they let him walk, and then.
And then he went, and then Buffalo.
And then he went to Buffalo for a year for his 6th year.
Okay, so this will be his 7th. This will be his 7th season.
Yep.
And he's been lousy for all of his career.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
And on that note, Chicago could have had Patrick Mahomes. They took Trubisky over Mahomes.
Right.
So,
yeah. Why would what is Pittsburgh thinking?
Who knows?
They must see something in him, or they just we're going to rebuild, and there's nobody we really like right now.
Right.
We don't want to give up what we have to give up, maybe for a Russell Wilson or a Deshaun Watson. So this is our sacrificial lamb over the next season or two while we
do that. Yeah.
While we put all the other pieces in place, and then we bring in a quarterback.
And then we'll bring a quarterback in, right? On that note, word came out during the season last year, or maybe it was out before. I only heard it for the first time this past season, and that was that Ben McAdoo, and who I affectionately refer to as a much worse name than that, when he was on the Giants, coaching the Giants. Apparently, going into his second year, which was 20. Well, actually, it was 2017. So, yeah, it wasn't 2016. It was 2017. He wanted to draft 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So, I'm sorry. This is Mitchell Trubisky's 6th year, not 7th. I apologize. The Chicago let him walk after 4 years. They didn't sign him to the fifth.
Okay, right.
So this is his 6th year. He had a 1-year deal. It would have been his 5th year in the league. So this is his 6th year in the league. So anyway.
So they didn't option him.
They didn't option him, no.
So 4 years, they said that's enough.
4 years, see you, get out of here, goodbye. But according to a couple people that I talked to in the last season, McAdoo wanted to sign Patrick Mahomes and as quarterback. And he was met with no, that's not going to happen because Eli Manning is our quarterback, and we're not going to bring anybody in here because we're not getting rid of Eli just yet. And then 2 years later, they brought in Daniel Jones. So,
right.
But if that was the case, that would have been a good thing that Ben McAdoo did. And, But then again, I'm happy for Patrick Mahomes that didn't happen because he wouldn't be where he is today. And I don't just mean physically in Kansas City. I just mean a $500 million contract quarterback that was MVP and Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl champion. That wouldn't have happened with the Giants. At least, right. Not with the other pieces.
You're saying he wouldn't have developed into the same player.
Well, he couldn't have been because of the team that they had around him.
Right.
He would have never been able to do what he did, what he does in Kansas City with the Giants the last few years. It just wouldn't have happened.
Well, you know what? Listen, I'll say this, and it's way too early to tell, and I'm not in any way saying I think this is going to be the case because, he's the real deal. But Patrick Mahomes, he's young and he's got a lot of time. And obviously people who are saying, oh, he could win, the most Super Bowls ever. But, that's unfair to do to anybody.
Right.
But as good as he is, and as good as Kansas City's been, okay, they got a Super Bowl to show for it. But if he doesn't win at least a few more, right?
Is it a bust?
He could be one of the biggest busts in NFL history. And he could the level of bust could be unfairly as it would be, could be decided by how many times he gets there. Like if he goes to like 3 more Super Bowls and doesn't win any of them, right? Goes 1 for 4 in Super Bowls, let's say over his career.
Right.
That's still pretty good to get
5,
there, right?
Because he was there twice. He only won.
Right. Okay. Sorry. 1 for 5. Right. Yeah, he got us there, but he couldn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Couldn't get us over the. Again, now that would not be considered a bust because he's getting you there.
Right.
When you're paying a guy $500 million,
right?
Not to mention what he's already made.
Right. Well,
you would go, well, was it really worth it?
Right. Well, that would actually.
We could have had somebody else and maybe had 1 less Super Bowl, but it wouldn't have cost us nearly as much money. It wouldn't have cost us as much money. You know what I mean? We could have been mediocre and gotten beat in the playoffs every year and not won any Super Bowls, and it would have cost us a shitload less money.
Right.
Maybe like $300 million less than Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
That might be in the pocket. I'm rooting for him, but it's not desperation time or anything.
Not at all. You know what though? Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be something that, I think what was the factor of why he didn't win his 2nd Super Bowl in a row? What was probably the biggest factor?
Well, the offensive line was terrible.
Well, yeah.
And Tom Brady cheated.
Tom Brady was on the other side of the field, right?
No, it was the defense. It was the Tampa Bay defense.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
What was the stat? 495 scramble yards or something outrageous like that?
It was insane, yeah.
He couldn't. He threw what should have been a touchdown pass sideways, sidearm, while sideways, perpendicular to the field. And the idiot, whatever his name was, dropped. There were a lot of factors, but he didn't convert protection. Right. Even you just said it. You can have a great quarterback with a shitty offensive line. You're in worse shape than having a decent quarterback with a great offensive line.
Exactly.
So, but yes, I would say 1A was you're going against the GOAT, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
And what was a very, very good team.
Right.
That Tampa Bay team was stacked on both offense and defense.
Exactly. On that note, we'll bring it up again. Tom Brady out of retirement.
Yeah, that was my top story. Good for him. Is this really that much of a surprise?
Not at all. I'm not shocked whatsoever. But I will tell you this much. There was a guy that spent, was it $300,000
Yeah, 518.
What's that?
$518,000.
He bought Tom Brady's the football that Tom Brady threw his last touchdown pass in the NFL with.
Next to last when he throws one more, and then next to last when he throws another.
So everybody's saying Tom Brady should buy that football back from that guy because now it's worthless. It's just a football. That Tom Brady threw a touchdown pass.
Tough shit. You're a moron for paying $500,000 for it. You're an idiot.
Well, there's that, but a couple.
By the way, one person that's really happy for Tom Brady coming back. Mm-hmm. Is Jalen Ramsey. Well, listen. I saw the memes like Tom Brady went away for a month, spent a month with his wife and kids, and then decided he'd rather get.
He needs to go back to work.
Yeah, he'd rather get chased by 320-pound linemen than be home. One guy who's happy is Jalen Ramsey. Mm-hmm. He about 15 minutes. After Tom Brady announced his unretirement, 14 minutes after Tom Brady tweeted, Jalen Ramsey, who's the cornerback for the Rams, retweeted Brady's post and added, "Thank you," throw that last touchdown on somebody else because he was the guy that gave up Brady's final touchdown pass to Mike Evans. So Jalen Ramsey's happy that now someone else is going to be the guy that gave up Tom Brady's that got burnt for Tom Brady's last touchdown pass.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So good. So he's happy about that.
So he's happy. A couple other things. The Jets signed a couple of secondary players. They got the cornerback DJ Reed, 3 years, $33 million contract, and they got safety Jordan Whitehead. 2-year, $14.5 million deal.
Yep.
So they're
also re-signing Braxton Berrios. Good
re-signing Braxton Berrios. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who else did they. Well, Joe Flacco apparently back for another year.
They re-signed Joe. Yeah, they got Joe Flacco for another year. Yeah.
He might actually show his face.
Exactly.
At the stadium this year.
Maybe. Never know. And the only other one I got is, there's a couple others, but of market names or whatever. Khalil Mack out of Chicago went to the Chargers.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I have to say, man, if you want to, it's getting really hard to be a Cowboys fan. They're just terrible. I mean, Amari Cooper's going to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And we can talk about what's his name's tweet. The quarterback there. Why can't I remember anyone's name?
Dak Prescott?
No, in Cleveland.
Oh, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, right? Dallas overpaid for him, brought him in to be the number one. A couple years later, gone.
Yeah, well.
They paid a ridiculous amount of money for Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
Right? Who's not what he used to be, still good, but not so much.
Right.
And I mean, Dak Prescott looks so great sometimes, but do we really have confidence that he can do that for the whole season?
Doesn't look.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's always. They're just terrible at making decisions.
Exactly.
So,
on that note, though, does Jerry Jones have to watch his finances?
I don't know.
Did you see the news break about?
No, is this Jones? About he's got a kid with a 25-year-old woman?
No. He's got a 25-year-old kid with a woman, an illegitimate 25-year-old daughter with some other woman
with a 40-year-old woman who was 15 when she conceived. No, I don't know that's what her age.
I don't know what it was. Yeah, but in any event, apparently there was a confidentiality agreement signed, and this is why the woman. The girl, stayed quiet for so long.
Right.
But in any event, she came forward now. So, I guess she's looking for daddy to give her some money.
Yeah, well.
And pardon me.
Maybe she wants a job in the organization.
Maybe. And you know what? Hey, look, here's the thing. If he really is her father, do the right thing, right? But I'm not saying that's not the case,
yeah.
But
I don't know.
whatever. He's got to do a paternity test now, right? So, see what the deal is.
Whatever. He's a clown.
I know. And one other football thing. Did you see the obviously Joe Buck and Troy Aikman they're no more Fox Sunday football. Did you see who they're looking or has been rumored to be taking Aikman's spot in the booth? Now, granted, obviously somebody's going to have to take Joe Buck's spot in the booth too, but
right.
As far
Does
as
Aikman go to ESPN also?
Yes.
Oh, so they're going to be the new Monday Night Team.
I believe so.
Okay. I didn't realize Aikman was along for the ride. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, Aikman's out of there too. So rumored to be taking his spot for Fox in the booth for Fox games would be Mr. Michael Strahan. So, your buddy.
Oh, that's going to be terrible.
Well, it's color, right? Obviously, he's going to be, somebody else is going to be in the booth to play-by-play.
That's racist, man. You can't say that.
Color commentator.
Colored commentator?
No.
Come on,
Color.
John. Oh, I see.
Color.
Well,
COLOR commentator.
Who's going to be the straight man? Though?
Who's going to be the Abbott to his Costello? Is that too old a reference for this audience? Or I'm not sure, but
who are they going to bring in?
I don't know. I didn't see that. That part I did not see. But yeah,
they would move somebody up who's already in the organization.
Probably, yeah.
Is Tirico still with ESPN?
He is, I believe. Yeah,
he would. To me, he would probably be the natural.
Oh no, Mike Tirico was on. He was filling in for Al
Michaels.
Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football on NBC with Chris Collinsworth. So he was. And he took, because Al Michaels, if you notice, Al Michaels didn't do every Sunday Night Football game,
right?
Or every NBC game. It was back and forth between him and Mike Tirico.
Yeah, he's got to be. Well, I would say maybe they might look to get Al Michaels in there, but I don't think he wants to work every week anymore.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, because I did hear something. Obviously, the Thursday night games are all on Amazon Prime this coming season.
Right.
There's no.
So who's doing that?
I believe they actually got Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth over to Amazon. I believe that's what happened. I think I remember hearing that.
Where Chris Collinsworth belongs.
On Amazon Prime?
Yeah, Amazon.
On Amazon or in the Amazon?
Well, I mean, he belongs on, like, I don't know, True TV or something.
There you go.
I can't imagine Al Michaels on Amazon Prime.
I'm pretty sure I heard that. I'll do some double check and then we'll report back on that next week. Amazon and commentators.
Al Michaels, Amazon Prime. Yike! Oh, there goes the trombone.
There it is. You let him in.
Yeah, I know. I should bring your key next time, boy.
There you go. So
anyway, what I was saying about Mayfield,
mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, I guess, tweeted this wonderful message. Thanks for everything. We love Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Like, you're still there, dude.
He did not. Yeah, he said. I read it. He said in the beginning of it, he says, "This is not to be taken as foreshadowing anything. Like, I'm not. Okay. There's no hidden message in this.
Right.
I just want to say I love the city of Cleveland, and I'm so glad for these last blah 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 blah." Yeah.
It happened after they had talks with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
But that's coincidence.
Right.
I've been meaning to say this for weeks, but I just haven't gotten around to it with the upkeep of the stadium.
Right.
But, come on, dude.
If Deshaun Watson's going anywhere, he's probably wind up going to New Orleans. Because he met with the Saints and the Panthers first. And obviously the Saints have a better thing going on than the Panthers do at the moment. So,
right.
He met with the Saints, and that's probably where he's going to wind up. Depending on, obviously it depends on what Houston's going to get back. So
right,
and how everything else, plays out. The NFL still has to conclude their investigation too. But
but they're not going to do shit.
Probably not.
I mean, who was the guy that got suspended for gambling?
Who's the guy that got suspended
recently?
Ridley.
Yeah, so he got like a year. Right?
And
I forget who it was out and about shouting, like, you got guys that beat up their wives and girlfriends who got 6-game suspensions.
Right.
What does it say that this guy gets a year for gambling?
Right.
So, I mean, right? It's no criminal charges. The civil suit, everybody knows a civil suit is about money, or when you can't get the DA to indict, right?
Right.
Which, what's the old saying about DAs and indictments? They can indict a ham sandwich.
Right.
Right? So that's not happening criminally. So the civil suit is the other option. At least we'll try and get some money out of it, and you don't have to get. I think you have to get 9 out of the 12 jurors instead of a unanimous decision and stuff. It's an easier conviction.
Sure.
So, what's the NFL going to do? Well, maybe this happened. Maybe it didn't. It's he said, she said. Maybe 75% of the jury finds him guilty, but what are we going to do? Suspend him for 6 games?
Exactly.
And then it gets appealed, and then it's 3 or 2.
Right.
So he'll be fine.
He'll be fine. So,
but just this is another thing. What's with the breaking news and the fireworks and the banners? Deshaun Watson, so-and-so, Team X is interested in Deshaun Watson. The news to me is if there's a team that doesn't have a premier quarterback who's not interested in talking to Deshaun Watson.
Right.
That should be the breaking news.
Exactly.
Not that this team and this team and this team wants to talk to him. Of course they want to talk to him.
Of course.
Anybody whose quarterback is mediocre to sucky, which is a good portion of the league right now.
Pretty much.
Including some of those teams that have made moves to fill those positions.
Right.
Pittsburgh. They should all want to talk to him. It shouldn't be news that such and such a team is interested in Deshaun Watson.
It's going to cost so much for Deshaun Watson. It's going to cost. It's going to cost a ton of money in his contract, and it's going to cost a ton of draft picks and other capital and everything else to Houston to get him. It's going to be a lot. It's going to hamstring any team. It's going to hamstring them. So, unless it's the right deal, maybe he doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't want to be there, but he's going to have to, or Houston, somebody's going to have to give, right? Houston's either going to have to say, okay, we'll take 2 number ones instead of 3, and then whatever other picks come. Or he's going to have to say, okay, you can cut my salary by this much so I can get the hell out of here. Somebody's got to give, If he's not going to stay in Houston and they don't want him and he doesn't want to stay there, but they want these many draft picks and he wants this much money, then it's a catch-22.
But see, I think him getting cleared criminally, I think puts more pressure on the ownership now.
Sure.
Because they could have up to this point said, well, we can't play him because we don't know what's going on. And, we might get criminally charged, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Well, now that's not the case.
Right.
So now if he's not going to play, which I assume he's not going to play for Houston again,
right,
even if he's on the team when the season starts, although he might, but if he's not interested in playing for them, then the onus is going to be on the team. Because now if you're going to keep him on the bench and not lower your price, not find a way to get him moved without getting ripped off, of course,
right,
then you're doing it just for spite.
Right.
And that's not going to sit well.
Exactly.
So we'll see how that works out.
We certainly.
One more thing.
Go for it.
For me. Devontae Adams. We got Aaron Rodgers locked up. Oh, Devontae, franchise again.
Yep.
Devontae Adams says, I ain't playing under the franchise tag again. I want my money. You either pay me, you're paying Rodgers $56 billion. He's got to throw the ball to somebody, and that somebody is me. You either pay me or I'm not playing. Who blinks on this one?
The Packers.
The Packers have to, right?
The Packers blink on this one, absolutely.
Because what's the point of keeping Rodgers if you're not going to give him those weapons?
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
because then you're going to...
He's one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the league. And
right.
You just paid
one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the
league. So, yeah, you have to pay him.
And you don't
Suck it up and pay him. Backload it, incentives, whatever you want to do, just get it done. Is what you're going to have to do. So,
because you certainly don't want any extra incentive for Aaron Rodgers and 3 more years of, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
I'm under contract, but I can leave if I want to. I don't know. You let Devontae Adams go because you wouldn't pay him. I got nobody to throw to.
Right.
Or they brought back whoever that guy is that they
Randall
always
Cobb.
bring.
Randall Cobb.
Yeah, Randall Cobb. Thank you very much. Not Randall Tex Cobb.
No.
Cobb. I would love it if they brought Randall Tex Cobb
back. Absolutely.
I guess they'd have to make him an eligible lineman.
Exactly.
Just he'd be he'd be at tackles on the outside, right?
Right,
so
exactly.
He'd be a tackle, and every play the referee would go, number 98 is an eligible receiver.
Randall Tex Cobb. That'd be great.
I think that's about it for football.
I think so. A couple of quick basketball notes. We'll talk about with Harry. We'll talk about March Madness. We'll get into a good March Madness conversation next week.
They get playing games. So we don't even really know exactly everybody who's playing at this point, right?
Exactly. We'll do our brackets. We'll fill them out for the show, and we'll talk about it. Maybe almost like what you said that you used to do with your partner up in Riverhead. We'll do series by series. Pick them. And if we have to do 2 at a time, we do 2 at a time. But it's not the whole bracket.
Well, because they do in the first week, they're going to do the first and second round, right?
Right.
First round is tomorrow and the next day.
And it's Saturday and Sunday.
What's the date next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday is
the 23rd.
Yep.
Okay, so the 23rd is right before the Sweet 16 starts.
Right.
So we could do the first round,
uh-huh.
and then we could do the Sweet 16,
mm-hmm.
and then probably we'll be on before the Final Four.
There you go.
And then we could do the Final Four and 2 and, run out the rest of the bracket. We'll just kind of skip the second round and the Elite Eight.
There you go. That's all. Works for me.
And let's see. Congratulations to Texas Southern.
There you go.
You get to play Kansas.
You get to play. Yeah.
Congratulations.
You get to play Kansas. There you go. Have fun with that.
Congratulations to Georgia State. I think these are playing teams. You get to play Gonzaga. Excellent.
Gonzaga's number 1 overall, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right. And on one NBA note before we go, Kyrie last week against Charlotte put up 50 points. I was on Tuesday, day before the show last week. Last night, Tuesday, day before the show this week, puts up a 60 spot.
Yeah.
In Orlando. Unbelievable what he's doing. Single game franchise record.
Yep.
And he put up 60 points. They still scored another 90 points beyond what he put up.
Yeah. What was the final of that? 150
to 108.
That's pretty brutal.
150. That's an all-star game score.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. What are they doing tonight here?
What are they doing tonight?
Today is Wednesday. Where are the Wednesday games? Oh, I guess they're over. No, is it over?
It's over. Yeah.
Let's see. Knicks beat up on Portland. Ooh, by 30.
Knicks beat
128-98.
Wow, look at that.
And Brooklyn falls to Dallas by a deuce. 113-111.
Lost by 2. They were up by 10 when we started.
Spencer Dinwiddie with 22.
Mm-hmm.
Doncic with 30.
Mm-hmm.
As expected. Kevin Durant, 23, 6, 10 assists.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Brown, 17. Dragic, the Dragon, with 21.
Yep.
Let's see. Claxton, good to see him playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drummond had 14 and 1 block. 14-17, 1 block was a minus 11.
That's funny. The Knicks Portland game, R.J. Barrett, leader with 31 points, 4 boards and 5 assists. 31.
No Seth Curry, no Blake Griffin.
There you go. So.
Yeah, look, we talked about. You've got this. We talked about whether we think it's going to change and what's not going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at, I guess, the NBA.com put out a bracket, I guess, that the playoffs started now. And Toronto and Brooklyn are in the 7-8 playoff game.
Yep.
Atlanta and Charlotte in the 9 and 10. So the winner of Toronto-Brooklyn would play. Oh, no, the winner of Atlanta-Charlotte
plays the loser of Toronto-Brooklyn.
The loser of Toronto-Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess, honestly, depending on where the game is, I'm hoping that Brooklyn kind of stays in that 7-8.
It's not a bad deal.
Because at least they get 2 shots at it.
It's not a bad deal. So,
yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. I was just going to say, 150 to 108, 60-point game. It's a single-game franchise record Kyrie set for the Nets. Number 2, just want to go through them really quick before we end the show.
Sure.
Number 2 on that list was 57 points put up by Deron Williams back in March 4th of 2012 at Charlotte. Number 3 in third place was Kyrie 2 years ago, January 31st, 2020, put up 54 in Chicago. And number 4 overall, which before last night was number 3 overall, was Kevin Durant this past Sunday against the Knicks, put up 53 points. So between the two of them, the fact that the two of them are on the court right now, if they're able to stay in this spot and, have, less of an advantage, obviously no home field advantage throughout the, stay in the 8th spot, and they won't have any home field advantage, obviously, unless, one of the 9 and 10 teams, the 8th place team, whoever wants to have an 8th place,
right?
It's them, but if it's them, then it's fine. But whatever. So.
Listen, I have talked about how great I think Kyrie is. Mm-hmm. I think he's a top 5 player in this league. Yep. I think he's got a little chip on his shoulder right now because of the whole you're not going to play home games and blah, blah, blah. It's pretty obvious to me why James Harden wanted out.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And a lot of that was Kyrie.
Yep.
But, it's all a question of whether you're going to take all of the craziness because you're going to get amazing play out of the guy. But again, if they end up losing a series where they have home court in the playoffs and he's not on the floor, especially if it's a 7-game series and he's not on the floor for 4 games and they lose like in a game 7 at home.
Yep.
Because it's Durant.
Right.
And a solid cast around him, but you're going up against, Philly's got 2 great players.
Exactly.
Milwaukee's a great team. Miami is,
there's a lot.
The quintessential team.
Right.
These are there's other, like I said last week. I think it's not just the Nets and the Bucks and maybe the Phillies and who else is coming in 4th and beyond like it was last year. These are other teams are better.
They are.
And the Nets are.
They've gotten better.
But they're only better when they're away.
I know.
When Kyrie's on the floor. So
exactly so. All right. Well, we'll talk more about that obviously next week. It'll be closer to the last game of the season, so we'll see where the standings sit at that point. They haven't changed that much, so we'll see where they're at then.
Yeah. Oh, anything else?
I'm good. I was just about to read the outro. So
actually, I just want to say, I don't know if you've been following the story, Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
Who is a star of the NBA, like a 7-time All-Star. And I think she's won 2 or 3 Olympic gold medals. She is in Russia. She plays in the Russian league during the off season. This is what the women players do to make more money. And she was arrested there, and they were talking about her trying to smuggle hashish oil in her vape pen, and the whole thing seems like a bunch of bullshit.
Probably.
And she's basically a hostage there.
It's like the whole, whatchamacallit, Artemi Panarin bullshit from last year.
Right. Yeah. But they made a big showing on state TV of like arresting her at customs and parading her around, which was, kind of unusual.
Yeah.
And who the hell knows what's going on here? I mean, it's hard to believe that she had hash oil and she was trying to smuggle out of Russia. I mean, that's just, why would you do that? There's no reason to do that. Even if you were using hash oil, just come back to the States. You're an WNBA star. If you want hash oil, you can get it.
You can get it, right? Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, she hasn't seemed to be used as a bargaining chip of any kind, but with Russia and Ukraine, I mean, who knows what the hell they're thinking. Exactly. But she's been there, I don't know, about a month now. So, I don't know. Just hope that she comes home soon, and
hopefully so.
It's just insane that this would happen. But hey, it's Russia.
This is true.
So, hope she comes home soon. She's the first woman who dunked her in the WNBA or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a monster player. She is one of the all-time legitimate WNBA stars.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, we'll keep tabs on that as well. Good?
Yep. We'll know as soon as the world knows.
This is true.
But,
when everybody else knows, then we'll let you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
We'll find out, and then we'll let you know.
We'll find out shortly after everyone else does, and we'll tell you.
We'll tell you. Exactly. Anyway. All right. On that note, we'll wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And, of course, all of the shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night around 7:30 Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will talk to you later, folks. Take care. Cheers.
One quick note. Dean Morton, NHL referee, has ref more than 1,000 games, had a short career in the NHL and the AHL. Yep. Basically, his last game with every team and in certain places, all the players after the game come up, shake his hand, give him hugs, thank him. Right. He's reffed more than 1,000 games. Well-respected referee and really nice. Hockey is still, even with the fighting, is still in many ways the most gentlemanly of sports. That entire teams would go up to the ref and just say, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not going to get to do this with you again. You're retiring. So thank you for being a great ref.
That was awesome.
All these years. He became a rep in 2000, so he's retired. Saturday was his last game. Gotcha. But this has been going on the whole season. The first time I found out about it.
Yes.
So sign of respect and love, and, you know, we should see more of that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I love when you see the sportsmanship like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, hockey is, you know, it's whatever. It's a strange game, but it's definitely a fraternity.
It is.
And it's just nice to see them really appreciating, you know, a guy who does it right. A well-liked and well-respected referee. So
exactly.
Enjoy your retirement, Dean Morton.
Enjoy, Dean. You got it. All right, folks. Watch your sports this weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Take care. And Harry will be back with us. And really quick before we go, happy birthday, Harry Lug Nutz. Tomorrow's his birthday.
Happy birthday.
There you go. Cheers.
He's probably
celebrating.
Hopefully he's celebrating already.
Hopefully he is. Yeah. So anyway. All righty. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Peace.